In the morning when I'm driving, I really come alive when I listen to my RonyiQ. They are rare and they are few who can compare with RonyiQ. So grab a chair, she's coming through. She's on the air, it's time for RonyiQ. They are rare and they are few who can compare with RonyiQ. So grab a chair, she's coming through. She's on the air, it's time for RonyiQ. RonyiQ. It's time for RonyiQ. RonyiQ. It's time for RonyiQ. In the morning while I'm driving, RonyiQ. I really come alive when it's time for RonyiQ. I listen to my Ronnie. I listen to my Ronnie. It's time for RonyiQ. Take a seat and go meet Ronnie, sweet, sweet.
Grand Rising. I hope you guys had a fabulous weekend. Oh, God. It's just a lot going on. This country is barely resembles anything about American values. It's the things that are going on in the news. I see we have news channel dedicated to 24/7 news, but the disturbing things that are going on in the United States are barely talked about, barely questioned by media heads who are being paid millions of dollars and bringing billions of dollars of profits to their media conglomerates. And the American people are just being dummied down. There is no critical thinking going on anywhere. We have an obvious liar, administration that just obviously lies to the people, and they don't even care if you see them for the liars that they are. They just continue to come out and say dumb shit, pull numbers out of their ass. Scott Bessent tried to manipulate the bond markets by buying up a whole lot of Japanese bonds, and it worked for approximately half of a day. And then they asked him about the abysmal job markets, and you know what he said? You know how they said that the Mexicans were taking all of your jobs to get you to hate Mexicans, to hate undocumented workers? The Treasury Secretary then came out and said, well, since they've all been deported, we don't need as many jobs. Now, I ask you, what sense does that make? We haven't created any jobs because we don't need the jobs that the undocumented workers had, that we told that they were taking from you. So once they go, the job goes. Well, then how were you telling American people that these undocumented immigrants were taking jobs from them if in fact the only reason the job was needed is because an undocumented immigrant was doing the job? Make any of this make sense? This is what these people who are profiting off of your government right in front of your face are coming out and telling you about why they are not doing anything for you and how you live your life. This shit is really, really disgusting on a whole range of levels. Now, I want to bring you the reason I have Spider-Man on my thumbnail. Um, what is this fool's name? We'll get to him. We'll get to him when I can remember his name. Who was a January 6th rioter who spent 4 years in jail for what he did on January 6th. Jake Lang, who spent 4 years in jail for what he did on January 6th, who was pardoned by this president, who came out and who goes to all of these different states with this racist rhetoric against Muslims and Black people, was arrested once again in Minnesota, has been arrested in Texas for threatening if Carmelo Anthony wasn't found guilty, that I think that he would take the life of Carmelo Anthony, and he was arrested in Texas. Well, if you are threatening to take the life of someone, why are you free to gallivant all over the United States after you have been arrested on these charges? Is one question. Why aren't you held until your court date? You know, oh, you have the complexion for the protection. That's why. Now he has been arrested 4 times. He showed up at that Chud the Builder's hearing date, and the judge said, "Don't anybody make any comments or speak out loud in the courtroom." And what did he do? He decided to make a protest statement in the courtroom, and he got arrested in the courtroom. And then so yesterday, this is the same man who went to Minnesota. He wanted to have a pro ICE rally when he knew that they were having an anti ICE rally. He was the same man who destroyed a veterans display, an anti-ice display of some ice cube that they had in the letters of being against ice. So he decided to film himself destroying the veterans big ice cube letters. So he was arrested for that in Minnesota. And then on the day that they were going to have a protest against ICE in Minnesota, he decided to show up with a big boombox playing the one-hit wonder Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby. And then he was hemmed up on the side of a building. And of course, one of these raccoons was the one who helped save him and get him down as they were throwing water on him. It was in the wintertime, in the dead of winter. They were throwing water on him, and he was huddled in the cavity of a window, trying to protect himself as an angry mob was down there. And he showed up in a flak jacket. I think the flak jacket had infidel written on it. Don't quote me about that. I think it did have infidel on there. So he's a racist, and he's a Islamophobic. So he also decided to bring to that protest, that anti-protest, Qurans with slices of bacon in the pages of the Quran. All of this foolishness. But you want to know what else is foolish? That he is he is actively running for a congressional seat in the state of Florida as all of this goes on. As all of this goes on. And Florida still has him running for a congressional seat. Florida, aren't you proud? So, this numbnut shows up in Minnesota again. They're on their anti-Muslim kick because Al Sayed actually won in Michigan. So he showed up in Michigan and showed up in Dearborn, Michigan, and was doing a whole lot of bullshit in Dearborn, Michigan, and then he swooped back around to Minnesota. And in Minnesota, he had a sign that says that he doesn't hate black people. He just hates niggers with the hard ER. And then what happened? Nobody has been able to stop the foolishness of this person that is a is a menace to the United States of America, who has proven that he is committed to breaking the laws and the rules and the constitutional rights of American citizens in the United States of America. And the thing about it is, when he first got caught up in Minnesota, it was a black man who helped pull him down and from that windowsill where he was holding on, white knuckling, afraid of that mob that was trying to drag him out of that window. It was a black man, a raccoon, in my opinion, nonetheless, but a black man. Then they usher him out of the ruly crowd and protect him. And then what does he do when he see a clear path to run? He runs up to the car of two what appeared to be women, but one of the women was a trans woman, and he opens their back door and gets in their car and begs them to drive off. This hater of trans people got a protection from a friend of a trans woman and a trans woman sitting in the car to drive him off from the havoc that he created with his hatred. So he showed up in not Wisconsin, in Minnesota once again on yesterday and was arrested. So with the I don't hate black people, I just hate niggers sign. Then who came jumping in on this time? None other than Spider-Man. Did y'all see Spider-Man come in? Hey, Khalid Pleger. Your fave sub, can you give me a shout out? Why would I do that? Hey, your fave sub, shout out your fave sub. Good morning, Jill. Okay, never mind. You're boring too. Nobody is demanding that you be here. You're boring too. Okay, so let's continue. Let me see. Let's continue. Did you guys see that Spider-Man came to rescue the people in Minneapolis from this jackass? If you didn't see it, I got a little. So these are the people that are allowed to openly harass and people, non-white people in the United States of America. This is what the United States of America has devolved to under this administration. So let's get into. Did you see any of that in your mass media? Did any of your 24/7 media? I didn't even see that. in any of our oligarch-owned media. Did the oligarchs allow that to be dispersed on their media channels that are on 24/7, alleging to tell you the news of the day? I'm curious. I'm just really curious. So let's find that. Here we go. I'll share that with you. He was arrested and he went to get jail because along with Spider-Man coming out to fight against him, unfortunately, they arrested Spider-Man. They arrested Spider-Man first, but Jake Lang, he actually drove his vehicle on the sidewalk where which is against the law. They drove his vehicle on the sidewalk where there was hundreds of people on the sidewalk. Could have killed somebody. But they later caught up with him and arrested him. So let's watch a little of this Spidey action, shall we? And I do believe that I got a glimpse of Spider-Man's leg, and Spider-Man was a brother.
It got reckless. Y'all see the athleticism of Spider-Man? Hold on now. Hold on. Look at Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
Does whatever a spider can.
Spider-Man. Are you spraying?
Look out! Here comes for Spider-Man.
Now, these mugs are on the sidewalk. Why are they driving on the sidewalk? It's one thing if he was just doing a protest. Why are you driving on the sidewalk? See, this stuff right here is riot stuff. Like, this is, dog. And you see Spider-Man right here. Spider-Man ain't playing these games, but the police is right here. Why?
Trump's America. Yes, I see the legs of Spider-Man is a black man.
Why are y'all driving when the road is what?
Thus, Spider-Man is the first one arrested. As you see these rogues with this sign about not only hating niggers is allowed to continue on.
Over here? The street, yeah, street and stuff is over here. Why are y'all on the sidewalk?
Let me go back and see if I can let you guys see exactly what this sign says.
Street, yeah, street and stuff is over here. Why are y'all on the sidewalk?
Jake Lang loves black people, but the bottom part in the red is kind of you can't see it because that a fake a Christian cross is covering it. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, we may have a little.
They playing. Spider-Man said
a piece of it. That's one more time. But hates NIGG. But hates NIGGE. Jake Lang loves black people, but hates NIGG. You feeling the rest. So this is Jake Lang, who is actually holding in the tan pants right here. And here's Spider-Man. Spider-Man has come around, and Spider-Man has grabbed that Jake Lang hates, loves black people, but hate the N-word with the ER. Let's see if we can read what Spider-Man. Look at Spider-Man in action. And why are the police grabbing Spider-Man when nobody is grabbing the driver of this vehicle that is on this sidewalk like they would a driver who they black driver that they would pull out of their vehicle on a pull over because of their license plate light is out. You know, those drivers that they pull over because the light on your license plate is not working. Can you get out of the car? And then they taser them and pull them out of the car. Nobody's pulling this white driver out of this truck that is actually driving on the sidewalk with all these crosses and American flags and hate speech signs displayed. Nobody is pulling this driver out of the car, but they're holding on to Spider-Man.
Oh, Spider-Man ain't playing. Spider-Man said you is not going to use the Lord in vain. You will not be using the Lord's name or any of his symbols in vain. Not on this good Sunday. Spider-Man said, I got time. I got time. Hold up. I got time. Hold up. Let me get this straight. This police officer right here threw dude back, and y'all letting them drive through here? Mm-hmm. Look at this right. Mm-hmm. Y'all letting him drive through.
So, are we going to pretend like we don't realize what America is and what America has always been? Who has always been on the police force? Who has always protected these mobs that come after people who are not white? Who sanitize these crimes of these white mobs that go into communities to hurt non-white people? Are we going to pretend like we don't see these white nationalists walk through communities with police escorts? But we're supposed to trust the investigation that's going on in Mississippi. With all the pitfalls and Grand Canyon hollows in this alleged investigation that is going on in Mississippi, we're supposed to trust the process of an investigation of cops in Mississippi and a district attorney and a judicial system and a fucking medical examiner in Mississippi. When we know the facts of the history of this said medical examiner in particular, and the judicial system of Mississippi. We're in Minnesota right here. We have seen this in Ohio. We've seen it right in our state capital of Washington, D.C. These white hate groups marching with the protection of our police officers.
Through here. Let's continue.
Now, you see the force that he took that man off of that truck. As if that y'all saw it. If you didn't rewind my video, you saw the force. We must protect Jake Lang. Look at they making sure that they protect Jake Lang for some reason. What happened to the phrase "you get what your hand called for"? I thought that you get what your hand called for. Now, he goes up and hit Jake Lang, and a police officer came behind him and bashed him in the back of his head. Let's see that again.
They trying to hear me. Yeah, he's trying to get in the car. Trying to get in the car. Hey, bro, on the real, he really is inciting a riot.
And this is what your tax dollar is going for. This is who your tax dollar is going to pay. Somebody who was in the January 6th riots, doing a rioting against the Capitol Police. And you have state police officers in Minnesota battering citizens to protect him as he does a riot in their own city. Make any of this make sense? But he was pardoned by the person that Maga decided to put back in office. Make any of this make sense? Did your corporate media show you this story and have all those both sidesism discussions about any of this? I'm curious.
He really is inciting the riot. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. They taking some real dangerous risks, because with them using that vehicle and doing that stuff and going on the sidewalk like that,
going on the sidewalk, speeding down the street, not stopping for the man who was in front of his car. I don't know if they have the Florida law that well, if somebody gets in front of your car, you have the right to run them over. They shouldn't be in the street. To appease these fucking white nationalists and their debauchery.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
They shouldn't be in the street, but nothing happened to the passengers and the driver of the truck when the truck was on the sidewalk, where it shouldn't have been. But a truck has the right to do that to a person who was trying to stop the truck in the street. Make that make sense. You can't make it make sense, because it only makes sense when you are trying to appease white hate in America. The only sense you can make of it is if you are saying something to defend white hate in America.
Could have been some type of justification if there was some, and I'm just saying this. There could have been some justification if there was a legal carrying individual that was just walking down the street, walking down the block, and you see this like a vehicle just coming down the doggone sidewalk. And if it's coming at you and you don't even know this vehicle from Adam, then they trying to spray stuff at you as well. You don't know what they spraying. They got weapons, all type of stuff. And they using that vehicle as a deadly weapon. They are lucky that nobody has just unloaded into that vehicle while they were trying to use that vehicle as a weapon. Because you definitely, with somebody actively using that as a weapon, oh yeah. That self-defense and that is all day long. Because they, like, you have a right to be on the sidewalk. He doesn't. Right? Now, I'm telling y'all, as a concealed pistol license instructor, I'm not a lawyer, so this is not legal advice. Just telling y'all. From a general standpoint, if you're looking at this from where you are supposed to be and where you're not supposed to be, I'm supposed to be on the sidewalk walking. He's not supposed to be on the sidewalk driving a vehicle to incite and taunt people. Then on top of that, he's speeding. So he ends up speeding on the sidewalk, almost hitting me. And I like almost hitting me where it is no
Okay, see, it seems like there's some local news reports. Let's see what the local news says.
Is this all the stuff he ran on? Yeah. So he ran over like these barricades and all that. So I was able to find the police and more of the powers that be in Minneapolis and get their response. So we are going to actually follow up on that too, because there's no real reason and way that y'all should have just let them be able to drive on the sidewalk. Every time Jake is afforded something like a small sliver of access to something, he takes it to a different mile. He don't take it to the next mile. He takes it to the next city in town. Like he's a what you would call a habitual offender, a pathetic individual, but
a habitual line stepper over. Who came up with that? I forgot who coined that. You are a habitual line stepper over.
Habitual offender. So what we're going to do, I want y'all to be able to see what the powers that be that has something to say about this.
Our top story tonight, Minneapolis police arrested far-right extremist Jake Lang after his latest rally quickly turned confrontational today. The pardoned January 6th rioter and self-described anti-Muslim activist came to Minneapolis for what he called a freedom of speech rally promoted online using a racial slur. Police say Lang arrived with a group in 2 cars, which drove onto the sidewalk towards a crowd gathered outside City Hall. Our Jessica Hart is here to...
Like, bro, before we even get to that, just look at that. How is Muggs
online using a racial slur? Police say Lang arrived with a...
How are you able to be...
And look at this front of this, inside of this vehicle that is on the sidewalk, flocked by police officers. These vehicles, all on the side of these vehicles, in the front of the white one, is flocked by police officers protecting these criminals. Yeah. Where they do that at? In the United States of America, if they have hate against Muslims and blacks specifically. Let's continue.
On the side.
Group in 2 cars, which drove onto the sidewalk towards a crowd gathered outside City Hall. Our Jessica Hart is here to share how these events unfolded and why police made those arrests. Jess?
Raya, the primary law that was broken that started this whole thing was those 2 vehicles driving onto the sidewalk. Minneapolis police had officers staged inside City Hall, and when they saw those...
That was the primary law that was broken. But so they didn't stop them in their tracks and get them out of the car. No, they let them go on about their business and speed off down the street. They could have nipped this in the bud right when it started, but no, they chose not to do that.
Vehicles, they responded. From the moment Jake Lang arrived, it was heated.
At approximately 11:50 a.m., far-right extremist and known racist Jake Lang arrived near Minneapolis City Hall.
Lang and 6 others came in 2 vehicles and were confronted by counter-protesters. Lang is standing in the black pickup wearing a white T-shirt and vest.
Both vehicles then drove onto the sidewalk in front of City Hall toward a crowd of people that were gathered there. Many of them could have easily been injured or even killed.
I'm telling you, all day self-defense. Would have been self-defense. You not driving onto a sidewalk where I have a right to be at and think that I'm not finna take you out because you taking me out. Right where you go.
Person dressed as Spider-Man jumps onto the black truck, tackles the men in back, and then Lang security sprays the crowd with a chemical irritant.
It was not safe for us to make any sort of arrests on those individuals in that large crowd.
Now, Lang security, hey the bushes, Lang security sprayed a chemical irritant on the crowd, as they are the ones who are on the sidewalk who made the first illegal, unlawful action by being on the sidewalk. They set this all off, and they're spraying the crowd of people with a unknown irritant. Interesting.
Bill Peterson, the Minneapolis interim police chief, says the best thing was to get the vehicles out to de-escalate the situation.
Anytime there is crowds of people
or how about this? Prevent them from being on the roads in the first place, like on the sidewalk. And then also too, just like you would with anybody else. Get them out of that car and arrest them right then and there.
Exactly. Period. All these weak ass excuses. Fuck out of here.
They one thing I will say is that they handle Jake Lane with kid gloves.
Gathered, the last thing we want to see is vehicles driving towards them when we don't know their full intentions.
From Sky 11, you can see Lang's vehicle speeding off from the scene, driving onto sidewalks in downtown and almost hitting pedestrians. Officers then relayed vehicle information, leading to the first one being stopped by the State Patrol near 35W in Washington. The second was stopped by Bloomington Police near the intersection of Lindau and IKEA.
And even after all of that, they are riding through the city like fools, almost still riding on sidewalks and almost hitting people. These people have been empowered with the fact that nothing is going to happen to them. This is his fourth arrest since being pardoned by your president for doing the same type of activity on January 6th. Let's be real clear. Most of these cases he has not even had a court appearance for. Let's be real clear.
Minneapolis police arrested all of them for probable cause riot. Their vehicles impounded, and more charges could come.
You can use hate speech even if we all find it to be abhorrent. However, there are exceptions to that general rule. Incitement of violence, clear threats, harassment, hate crimes. These can all be potential constitutional violations.
3 officers were injured today. Peterson says one was hit in the head with a hard object, another tweaked something in his hip, and the third had his foot or ankle rolled up on by one of the 2 vehicles. There were also 4 additional arrests outside City Hall, Raya. Okay.
So they may end up getting assault on a peace officer, which Jake already has. Jake already has that on his record from the whole January 6th riot. That's why he got...
No, dear. He was pardoned for that. And the DOJ has erased all of the data about the January 6th pardon, so it never appears on their records, dear. This is what your Department of Justice has been busy doing to expunge all of the information about anything regarding the January 6th people. So I didn't know if you guys were aware of that, but this is something that I think you would want to be aware of. I have been talking to you about the food crisis that America is about to endure. I have also been talking to you about the consolidation of our food processing plants. I've also talked to you last week about who was it? Was it Foster Farms? Who was it? This big meat processing plant that has closed 2 processing plants. I talked to you last year about the consolidation of our food processing plants, and one of the largest processing plants in the United States is a Brazilian processing plant. So where the CEOs and owners of this processing plant have already been in jail and have been found guilty of fraud and all different types of things, all different types of crimes. And now they are the largest meat processing plant in the United States, strangely enough, and are on the NASDAQ, being celebrated on the NASDAQ. But this same processing plant has announced that they are closing a plant in Missouri. So I showed you a clip of ranchers who are talking about how hard it has been to raise a herd and get it to slaughter because of the price of everything that is going up, the price of diesel that is going up, the price of fertilizer, the price of feed, everything that it takes to raise a herd has gone up. And also all of the independents and small meat processing plants in their areas have closed down. So many ranchers have to truck their cattle or their sheep or whatever they're sending to slaughter at an additional price from their state to another state or through 2 or 3 states, which is less money that they're making as ranchers. And so many ranchers are getting out the business because it doesn't make them money anymore. So your president came out, I think it was Saturday or Friday. And your president said something real that struck me real strange. Your president said that he is going to import beef into the United States for 90 days. Now, understand, your president refused to tell you where he's going to import this beef from. He wouldn't say. Now, understand, while your president has not given the U.S. Farmers $24 billion in farm relief, he has given the Argentina ranchers $24 billion of your tax dollars and said they're dying. They're in real trouble. Those people, they're dying. They need the support. And then what did he say about the American farmer at the same time? Well, we're going to have to wait until the government shutdown is over and we're going to deal with the American. I think they got the American farmers got $12 billion. Okay. So why is that important, RonyiQ? Why is any of this important, RonyiQ? They're talking about putting, let me see if it's right here. They're talking about putting beef in the U.S. market at a price tag of 25% lower than U.S. beef. How is that going to help the U.S. cattle rancher? That is going to decimate the U.S. cattle rancher, because if they are going to put a foreign beef on the market, that's fewer people who are going to buy the U.S. beef. That's common sense. So fewer people are going to be buying the U.S. beef on average because it's so high. And then you're going to flood the market with some unknown beef that don't have to pass the few USDA guidelines that are still in effect since you let Elon Musk go in and decimate the guidelines of the processing that the USDA had prior to you allowing Elon Musk and those Doge hackers to go in and cut jobs that they don't know what these people even do, to the point that the United States now has a new case of the screwworm that has been eradicated in the United States since 1966 or something like that. Screwworm hasn't been in the United States since the 1960s. But now under Trump's brain dead Department of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, who never has an answer for anything that is going on in agriculture, who tries to act like, oh, it was so nice meeting with you, and we're working on that, and we got a plan for that, and we're working on that right now. Screwworm has come back. A fly that lays its eggs in live cattle. And the eggs then go on to create maggots that eats the cattle alive. That is back in the United States. And what is Brooke Rollins' solution to that? Well, we're building a brand new plant, and we have already started the building of a new plant to grow sterile flies to combat the screwworms, because we need sterile flies to make sure that they don't mate and we eradicate the screwworm. So this bitch from the Department of Agriculture said that her plan to get rid of these screwworms, and all she needs to do is to harvest some sterile flies, some sterile maggot flies. This bitch sat up there and told Congress that she needs to build a whole new building. Bitch, you can harvest those new flies and all of that fucking skin that you have pulled back from your face and cut off and thrown away. You bitches with all of those Mar-a-Lago makeovers who get all that skin pulled back and cut off your faces, y'all can donate that skin to harvest some motherfucking fly eggs, some sterile fly eggs in. That would be much quicker than building a whole new building. This is her solution. This is Brooke Rollins' solution. But pet owners, you may want to take heed. You pet owners, you people who love your animals, you love your cats and your dogs. It has now been discovered that the screwworm can also lay maggots in your dogs and cats. And these maggots burrow like screws and eat the flesh of your animals. Did you know that as well? Okay, well, I ain't talking about the dog and cats, because I know a lot of you dummies give more of a fuck about your dog than you do about another human being. That's why I'm giving you that information. But let's get back to the real information that I wanted to share with you. The reason why I'm talking about this mystery beef that they are going to put on the market in the United States. Yes, Jackson Street. Hey, Jackson Street, it is good to see you. Let me get into why this mystery beef that your president is putting on the market at 25% less than the American beef should concern you. If you don't know about this, see, this happened. This was a big Project 2025 initiative. Why isn't your president telling you where this beef is coming from? Y'all know about this? Breaking news. Wild horses sold by the government are turning up at slaughter auctions, still wearing their federal brands. A New York Times investigation found BLM sales of protected Mustangs more than doubled under Trump to 3,700 in 2025. At least 55 horses sold at one Oklahoma event showed up days later at auctions frequented by slaughter buyers. The government spends $3,000 to capture each horse, then sells them for as little as $25. Once all legal protections expire, BLM policy bars slaughter sales. But once a third party buys it, that promise means nothing. A 1971 law called them living symbols of the pioneer something of the price tag. I can't read the rest of that, and if I go down, it's going to cut everything off. Did y'all know that? Were y'all aware of that?
Breaking news.
So let's go here. BLM has been quietly selling thousands of wild horses into a slaughter pipeline. A New York Times investigation found the BLM is saying to the public that slaughtering is off the table, but they're doing it in plain sight, said a sanctuary founder, Claire Staples. They are turning a blind eye. The government spends roughly $3,000 to capture each Mustang, then sells them for as little as $25 to buyers who resell them abroad to the slaughter. Sales more than doubled under the Trump administration to over 3,700 horses. The sale price has since been raised to $125 after the backlash of the low price of $25. So, are wouldn't you be concerned about where this cheap beef is coming from? If you are not concerned about where this cheap beef is coming from, I would be concerned about where this cheap beef is coming from. So let's see what your ag secretary has to say about this infusion of cheap beef into the American market. Oh, well, it's because of Biden, the Biden administration, let's see what this airhead bitch has to say. Let me see what the airhead ag secretary, how she tried to blame this on Biden. Where is she? Here we go. Let me share this with you. The big point of this. Thank you for becoming a member 2 time Jackson Street 2300 Jackson Street. Brooke Rollins, the secretary, the agriculture secretary, has came out and said, well, it's for low people, poor people. Basically, this it's going to be for ground beef. And you damn near barely knew what was in ground beef when we had a robust Department of Agriculture. You damn sure don't know what's in ground beef after Elon Musk has had his Doge hackers come in and fire all the inspectors and people who protect our products. Because under some guise of waste, fraud, and abuse. So now when we are allowing this outside from we don't know where beef to be ingested into our food supply, what does Brooke Rollins of the Department of Agriculture have to say about that? She says, well, it's just ground beef, and it's usually used by people of low income. So what she's telling you there is, she's telling you that, hey, it's just going to be the poor people who's going to get this mystery meat. It's just going to be the poor people. We don't eat that type of food. We get a ground. I went to a farm to table. They had a presentation at one of the bigger box stores, and they had a presentation, a farm to table presentation, and I definitely bought some farm to table stuff, and their burgers were a ground steak. So what Brooke Rollins is telling you that, hey, we don't eat like that. So if you guys out here listening, if you know of any type of ground to table or any small butchers, I really, if you are thinking about getting off of red meat entirely, I really would suggest that to you. I just really would suggest that to you. even the chicken that is coming out of the plant. A lot of anyway. Let's get to this story. What Brooke Rollins had to say about this.
It was just unsustainable. And you could go on down the line. The regulatory regime that was implemented, we had a USDA that I walked into that was more.
The regulatory regime. Like, oh my God, who would have all this regulation on your food? It was a whole regime. So Brooke Rollins has gotten rid of the regulations. So what the fuck are we eating? She thinks she's saying something slick about Joe Biden regulatory regime. I want my food to be regulated. So I'm not I don't have the shit from lettuce. This is who's over the USDA, who lied about that parasite that was on lettuce. When they got a positive, they came back and lied and told you that it was a false positive. This is Brooke Rollins, who is over the USDA during this lettuce debacle, talking about a regulatory regime. How is the regulation that now that you have taken all the regulations, how has that worked out now for the American people, Brooke Rollins? This bitch.
Focused on DEI than supporting farmers, labor, interest rates, equipment. It was just unsustainable. And you could go on down the line. The regulatory regime that was implemented, we had a USDA that I walked into that was more focused on DEI than supporting farmers. And President
They were more concentrated on DEI than supporting farmers. Let's see. Let's throw in DEI. Let's get the racists riled up and say, "Oh, well, if they were concentrating on DEI, anything that you do, as long as they got black people out of their jobs, and anything you do is a godsend. As long as you took the jobs from black people." Watch her say a whole lot of nothing, other than it's going to be just ground beef, and it's that's usually bought by poor people.
President Trump over the last 18 months with his leadership, including Zach, the one big beautiful bill, where the previous administration couldn't get a farm bill passed, and we got reference prices, pretty much the bulk of what would have been in a farm bill. We still need to do one, but we got a lot of it done. So I don't know that there has been a president who has been more supportive.
Oh, so what you're saying, you haven't gotten a farm bill passed either. You are saying the previous administration didn't get a farm bill passed, and I do not think that is true. I think that a Biden administration, I'm going to have to double check that, but I definitely think that they got a farm bill passed, and they also gave farmers incentives to do more clean farming. I'm going to have to double check that. While she's saying that the Biden administration didn't get a farm bill passed, she at the same time she's saying that they haven't gotten one passed either. But let's continue.
Reference prices, pretty much the bulk of what would have been in a farm bill. We still need to do one, but we got a lot of it done. So I don't know that there has been a president who has been more supportive of agriculture and farming and ranching than President Trump has. That's the first thing I think is.
President Trump has ignored the farmers. More farmers have taken their lives. More farms have gone under. Independent farmers have gone bankrupt and gone under President Trump. This bitch is crazy.
Important to say. The second part I want to say about this is this. The cost of food in the last administration increased up to 25% over 4 years. So the average American family, beginning in 2021, began to see their food.
The cost of food increased about, or if not more, in the past 2 years under President Trump. So what's your point, bitch?
Food and grocery bill.
Not only food, everything else that Americans buy. Not only food, everything in American life has increased. So what's your point, bitch?
Increase in over 4 years, it was 25%. In the last 18 months under President Trump, we've been at about 3%, which is historically aligned. But what you're looking at is an
She's lying.
unprecedented historical moment where that 25% under the last administration, we're still trying to dig out from under. And the importance of families
You
being
were going
able
to do that
to
on day one.
put really good food on the table is at a good value, is a top concern for President Trump, and it has been for a really long time. And
affordability is a hoax. It's a Democrat hoax. Look at the ballroom. Is that on the top of his mind? When has that been on the top of his mind? Let's continue.
so the opportunity in a very short period of time, I think the announcement this morning said just the next 90 days, we're going to move in about 300,000 metric tons of just ground beef from other countries so that we can
300,000 metric tons of just ground beef from other countries in the next 90 days. Now, your stupid president actually said that should give the farmers enough time to rebuild their stock. So you're a stupid president that thinks that 90 days will be enough time for ranch farmers to grow a new a herd of cattle. 90 days. Is that 90 days? That is going to be enough relief for the American farmers to fortify the number of cattle that they have available to sell. Get the fuck out of here. And they can't even afford to buy a feed or food for their cattle because shit is so high, because this disastrous Iran war that we're losing. They can't afford to fix their tractors. They can't afford to buy shit that they need on their farms because diesel fuel is so high that everything that is on store shelves has been increased because the price of diesel has increased because of everything across the United States is shipped by 18-wheeler trucks. So therefore, all prices have increased. Do they think we're crazy, or do they think that they can just tell us anything and they think they're talking to crazy Trump voters? I'm just real curious about this.
and get a 25% decrease for families. Usually, the announcement this morning said just the next 90 days, we're going to move in about 300,000 metric tons of just ground beef from other countries so that we can get a 25% decrease for families. Usually, lower income families rely on ground beef. Then he wanted.
Usually lower income families rely on ground beef. So they are targeting lower income families specifically with this mystery meat. So the link is in my description box. Ain't no telling what. We're going to be like Tina Marie. Wild horses can't keep me away. Wild horses are hamburger today. Wild horses. Y'all gonna be eating wild horses. Wild horses with this administration.
To make that move for the American consumer. That's the second thing. The third thing is this.
Fuck this bitch. The third thing is this, screw face bitch. Okay. Let's there is this link is in my description box. I really can't stand these bitches. No, Deke. It's going to be actually it will be wild horse meat. From the wild horses that they are rounding up all across the United States and are selling, and they are winding up in uh, they are winding up at slaughterhouses. And mysteriously, your president is not going to tell you where he's getting all of this meat that is infusing into our beef market in the United States. Conveniently. Let me hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Okay. I think there is one more article I wanted to share with you about that. I think there's one more article. I hope I bookmarked it. Please tell me I bookmarked it. Nope, I didn't bookmark it. Okay, let's go on. I think I have one more topic about that I want to share. One more little video. Here we go. Back to another video about 4547 caught slaughtering horses. If you don't believe me,
Wild horses. If you don't believe me, check this out. How about this one for you? Donald Trump declares war on wild horses. If you don't believe me, check this out. It's right out of the Project 2025 playbook. Under Trump, this article reported today in the New York Times, protected wild horses are going to slaughter. I mean, he's coming after everybody. And as Steve Bannon said, this is their plan. They're going to flood the zone. So much will be going on. So many wars and fights and drama and, crazy things they say online that they just get away with all of this. A legal loophole allows the government to sell Mustangs on the cheap, stripping them of protections and clearing their path to destruction. So again, there are rules for the Bureau of Land Management and what they are supposed to do with maybe the overpopulation of certain horses. But the question here, and again, does anyone believe the Trump administration is worried about the safety and the well-being of the wild horses? This is like Americana we're talking about. Trump literally tried to build a border wall through a national park in Texas, a border wall which would have actually given a lot of land back to Mexico, a border wall that wasn't needed because they can use heat sensing maps to see if any. It's like if someone sneaks over a border wall in Texas, they have a long way to go, right? So the destruction, the despair, the delight.
Now, let me see how long this video, when this video came out. Let's see. I don't know when this video. 3 days ago. Okay.
That Trump is seemingly taking over just.
It seems like a lot of people are paying attention to this because your president about 3 days ago, I think it was on Friday, said that he's going to infuse our beef market with this mystery ground beef. Pay attention, people. Pay attention. If you don't think that these people are capable of this, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Changing the fabric of our country. I don't know how else to describe it. We'll dive into this. They once had run free
for years in a feedlot in Idaho while the government tried to find them what it called loving homes. Abruptly, this March, the government found a home. Whether it was loving didn't seem to matter. The horses were packed into echoing metal trailers, trucked 1,800 miles east to the pens of a hard luck livestock trader in Ohio named Brandon Jones, who bought them for $25 each. A day later, 2 double-decker cattle trucks pulled up at midnight, loaded the Mustangs in.
What kind of trucks? Cattle trucks.
Quickly drove off into the night. From there, the Mustangs disappeared. They never appeared at a public auction. The trader won't say where they went. Wild horse advocates suspect the horses were shipped to slaughter. But that's not the government's concern. It got what it wanted. 2 more trucks of wild horses off its books. Yikes, guys. What the hell's going on here? Governor Katie Hobbs of Arizona has announced sanctuaries for Arizona's Salt River horse herd. This comes as the Trump administration is rounding up thousands of wild horses to sell to foreign slaughterhouses. What are they trying to do? Why is this in the Project 2025 playbook? Well, we have it right here for you. Lucius reports the culling of wild horses was written in Project 2025. As you guys know, Trump said, I don't know anything about Project 2025. What are you talking about? What's that Project 2025 stuff? And then they have systematically done every single thing, one page after another. I would love a Project 2028 that involves universal health care, taxing the ultra wealthy. How about this plan? Anybody who made over $25 million in crypto between the years of 2024 and 2026, let's tax them at 100%. That includes you. So if you're Donald Trump and you made $2 billion with your own crypto, I want that $2 billion to go to the Boys and Girls Club of America. That's what I want. I want it to go to horse sanctuaries because that money doesn't belong in that rich bastard's hands. Wild horses and burros. This is from Project 2025. And by the way, I mean, we're covering so much, right? They are flooding the zone. There's so much to cover that I understand that, people can't seem to care about the wild horses when they're coming after us in the streets. I understand. But when it is time to hold these monsters accountable, I don't want a page to go unturned where we don't make them pay a price for any crimes they're committing by exploiting or doing any of this nonsense. In 1971, Congress ordered the Bureau of Land Management to manage wild horses and burros to ensure their iconic.
Okay, so if you want to see the rest of that, it is in my description box because I feel that this is not a coincidence. I feel that this is an absolute diabolical plan. And let's see what's happening with what in
population because it can't move.
What's happening with our beef and why it is happening. JBS, the Brazilian beef slaughter company that has with the lack of regulations that the Republicans love, is the largest slaughterhouse in the United States. Now, Tyson just closed down a plant, and they are in somewhere in Illinois, and they're closing down one in, I think, is Utah, without any notice to their employees. And let's see what effect these big monopolies, all of this deregulation. Let's see how it is going to put a chokehold on your food supply. Let's see how it's going to put a chokehold on communities, taking jobs out of communities while putting billions of dollars in the pockets of billionaires. As the prices of beef has continued to rise, they are trying to make sure they have fewer and fewer employees to pay, but they are going to reap all the benefits of the pockets because they have been able to deregulate and get tax breaks and all of this type of shit from big, beautiful, bullshit ass bills that are targeting the regular people and incentivizing tax cuts for these billionaires that are ruining America and the way of life of Americans, in my opinion.
Morning, guys. If you raise cattle or you just simply care about where your beef comes from, then you need to pay attention to what's happening right now in the state of Pennsylvania. On June 12th, just a couple days ago, JBS USA, a Brazilian company, by the way, who just happens to be the world's largest meat packer. Well, they announced that they were closing their meat packing facility in Soderton, Pennsylvania. Now, that plant employed about 1,700 people. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in just a minute because there's an interesting story behind that as well. And it also processed over 2,000 head of cattle every single day. Put that into perspective, it is one of the largest facilities on the East Coast of the United States, very centrally located. Now, they're also closing a value-added plant in Tennessee, which is losing about 200 jobs. And that matters not as much as the Pennsylvania plant, but it does matter when it comes to our food supply. And it was all a part of the same press release. So we're going to talk about them both. Now, every time you hear about this happening, they say that they're just shifting capacity to other plants, that supply is going to remain uninterrupted. But here's the question I don't hear a whole lot of people asking about all this. And I think this matters to every cattle producer and everybody else out there who wants to have a functioning food supply. If the cattle herd recovers and our beef prices start to become affordable again, where do those animals actually go? Where are they going to end up going? You know, when you lose regional processing capacity, it doesn't just affect today's prices. It has an extraordinary impact on whether or not cattle producers can even get their animals to market at all. And that right there influences whether or not they have any incentive to rebuild our protein supply in the first place. Guys, this story is much bigger than just one plant closing. What this story actually is a story about market access for producers disappearing while our herds are at multi-decade lows. Now, stay with me here because we're going to talk about what happened with JBS. We'll share what JBS is saying about it. We'll share with you what the numbers actually show. And then we're also going to talk about what this actually means for those who raise cattle and what it actually means for the consumer. So in JBS's June 12th press release, they called this network changes to strengthen operations. I think the exact language was something along the lines of targeted changes, growth modernization, and long-term competitiveness. They say that production from Soderton to Memphis will simply be absorbed into the rest of their network, strengthening their position, making food processing more affordable. I love how they twist these things. Now, of course, they said that these decisions are never easy to make and that they're going to be helping all of their team members transition to new careers. HR is helping them with their resumes, finding new jobs, all the good stuff for everybody except for the cattle producers. And that's usually, you know, what we hear in corporate statements like this. But now let's look at what is actually leaving Pennsylvania. This is where this story gets a little more concrete for producers. In the last year alone, and I'm not talking about going all the way back to COVID, because if you go all the way back to COVID, we've seen a lot of processors, a lot of capacity come offline. But in the past year alone, while the herd has been at its lowest since the 1950s. Okay, we've seen a lot of large capacity facilities come offline. In January, many of you probably remember that Tyson closed its Lexington, Nebraska plant. That facility was more than double the size of this one in Pennsylvania. It handled over 5,000 head of cattle every single day. That Tyson plant alone was roughly 1.25 million head of cattle a year. They also reduced their Amarillo, Texas plant. They reduced it from 2 shifts to 1 shift, cutting the capacity in half. Tyson's moves removed the capacity of about 6,700 to 7,700 head of cattle every single day. Just what Tyson did. And now JBS is cutting another 2,000 head of cattle a day, roughly 500,000 cattle a year. When you add these major actions together, we're talking about 2 to 2.5 million head of cattle less capacity a year. Now, in the United States, we process between 29 to 32 million head of cattle every single year. We've been processing less because of the herd shortages. But this, in and of itself, these actions from Tyson and JBS have taken another 10% of the beef supply offline. Now, this is capacity that cattle producers on the East Coast now, the Midwest, and the South. This is capacity that these producers are going to really feel when they're back in a position when they have cattle that they can take to market. Now, JBS says that they're just going to shift capacity from Silverton to other facilities. Nothing's going to change, right? We heard the same thing, same lines coming out of Tyson when they shut down their Lexington, Nebraska plant, and they shut down half the capacity of Amarillo. All that means is that that's going to keep some of the national numbers from dropping sharply on paper. But it doesn't replace the regional access and the relationships that producers rely on. That simply disappears for cattle producers. And it's kind of a major thing to have. These cattle producers have fewer realistic options of bringing their animals to market without having to haul long distances. And this is where it's actually tightening the bottleneck of whether or not our national herds can actually expand when cattle herds start to improve, or whether they ever improve at all. What we're actually seeing here is we're seeing the largest meat packers in the world tightening the bottleneck. They're literally controlling land use as they do it. Because if you're on the East Coast and you can't bring your animals to market, if you don't have a way of raising animals, bringing them to the consumer, the point of what your entire business operation is supposed to be doing,
if you can't bring your product to market, if there are no processing plants near you, if you have to put your cows, your sheep, your pigs on these trucks and ship them through to the next states, that's more money coming out of your pocket for your herd, less money going on your profit margin. Why do you think that billionaires like Bill Gates are buying up all of this farmland? Huh? Why do you think that your vice president is a big banker in this acre traders that is buying up all of this farmland that these farmers, the American farmers, are losing to bankruptcy? And are putting leases on these farmers to small farmers. You will own nothing. You will own nothing. These hedge fund guys are coming in and buying up these farms and then leasing them out, the land out to people. Sharecropping. You know what they used to call it back in the day? Sharecropping. Let's continue. But people don't understand. You're gonna understand when you are getting sick from the stringy horse muscled ground beef you're eating. You're gonna understand
then your land is no longer usable for what you've been using it for. There's no longer a point in raising the cattle. You can't control your herd numbers. You can't control your population because you can't move the animals. And this is partly why we're seeing so much farmland getting sold off for solar farms and data centers. What else are these farmers supposed to do with their land? 100% beeswax candles, guys.
Okay, that's a commercial. Hold on.
Is at the lowest that it's been in decades. The lowest it's been since the 1950s, a 75-year low. Years of drought, high input costs, and liquidation have pushed the herd size to the small size it is today, which has driven up prices for consumers. You know what I find interesting is when you look at the Tyson plant closure and you look at the Pennsylvania plant closure, something happens in the marketplace that not a lot of people pick up on, and that is that the price of beef in the grocery store goes up. The price of cattle to the producer goes down. It's amazing how that.
Isn't that miraculous how that works? The person that bred the calf, fed the calf all of the time, took all of the risks with the cow. When it takes the cow to slaughter, they're making less money on the cow. But once miraculously it get into these oligarchs of these meat packing plants, now all of a sudden the beef is so much more profitable as they cut it up and sells it to the public. Okay, this link is in my description box. I want to share one more link. I've shared this other link with you guys way back last year. I'm like Michael Jackson. Do you remember the time when I shared this information with you? I have warned you guys. I have warned you guys for a long time what was on the horizon for the American people. But the American people seem to be too ignorant to understand and to process what is right here in front of their eyes. The American people seem to have gotten magnetized and believe all of the lies and all the bullshit that is being presented before them. Critical thinking is a thing of the past. No, here we go. Let me. He said something about Tyson. Let's go into this Tyson real quick. Let me see. When did this Tyson thing come out? This was 2 years ago. Now, Tyson, like I just told you, this month just closed a plant with no notice to the employees this month. So Tyson has been up to this for a while.
But he also takes the future and the potential future. Back in the day, 1 square mile would have as many as 4 different farm families on it. Now, all of a sudden, you have to go 4, 5, or 6 miles to find a farmer. When the farmer leaves the community, or he has no longer a purpose within that community, he not only goes himself, but he also takes the future and the potential future when he moves his family.
Come on, baby. This is Ron Martinson. He lives in Elliott, Iowa, and raises pigs from farrow to finish, or from birth to slaughter. For generations, this is what hog farming looked like in the state of Iowa. But in the last 40 years, Iowa lost 90% of its family farms. That's 40,000 farms that used to look a lot like Ron's. In those same 40 years, the number of hogs that have been raised, slaughtered, and sold has exploded, and the profits made in the hog industry in the state of Iowa has increased by 300%. You don't see that growth in the communities anymore. So where did that money go?
It used to be you drive rural Iowa and you see animals on the land. Now you don't see them, but you smell them.
Hog farms today look a lot more like this. These large metal sheds, called Concentrated Animal Feeding Operations, or CAFOs, have taken their place. And all the profit that sustained farmers' lives went to just 3 companies that now dominate every aspect of the pork industry: Smithfield, JBS, and Tyson. We're going to talk about Tyson because their way of doing business set the standard not only in hog country, but in the entire meat industry. They control 20% of all the pork, beef, and chicken that you buy at the grocery store or get at fast food restaurants, including a lot of brands you might not even know they own. Tyson uses that monopoly power to charge you more and pay farmers less. It's profits off the back of farmers. It's pitted neighbor against neighbor. And Tyson has destroyed not just the economy of Iowa, but the ecology as well.
They're chasing them almighty dollar, but the people who have to live with their creations have to live next to their CAFOs on a daily basis.
Ron's style of farming is the same as his father's and 4 previous generations of farmers before.
We live around here with the idea that we want a pig to be a pig.
On Ron's farm, the lifestyle of a hog goes like this. Sows will gestate for about 4 months.
And that is 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days.
Then piglets are born in these small wooden pens. Piglets are weaned from their mothers and spend another few weeks in the field before they're transferred to hoop barns like these.
And they will be there until they're about 180 days of age. And at that time, they will weigh about 295 pounds, and that's when they're harvested.
When CAFO started arriving in the neighboring towns and counties, Ron and his father made the decision not to convert to the industrial model.
First off, it was a significant capital investment, but we also felt that the consequences from that decision were too restricting or too confining, not only in terms of our own financial commitment and our own financial security, but also the overall welfare of the animals.
But he watched neighboring farms shut down and farmers leave the area. Meanwhile, in Hardin County, where Nick Shute lives, the kind of operations that replaced farms like Ron's dot the landscape.
Kept waiting for these facilities to fail, but instead of failing, our way of life failed. There's not a whole lot of us left, us independent hog farmers.
Nick's a farmer too, but his operation has gotten smaller and smaller over the years. His bank tells him he's more like a hobby farmer. Now his neighbors are all industrial farms. Each CAFO houses between 2,500 and 25,000 hogs. 95% of hogs in America are raised in these facilities. But this method of farming is pretty new. It came to Iowa in the 1990s and it grew quickly. This method of meat production is sometimes called chickenization, and there's a reason. It was first pioneered by Tyson Foods in the thousands of chicken houses they controlled in the South. Don Tyson grew up working with his father, John Tyson, who had a lucrative chicken business that trucked livestock from farms to slaughterhouses in the city. When Don got older, he wanted to expand the operation.
Don Tyson is a remarkable person. Tyson Foods was a relatively large company, but Don turned it literally into a global empire during the course of his life.
The Tyson model was to own every part of the chicken supply chain. They ran feed mills, hatcheries, trucking companies, and when that wasn't enough, they opened their own slaughterhouses. The only thing they didn't own was the farm where chickens were raised and fattened. That they left to the farmer. Instead, they'd sell them the buildings and equipment, and then sign a contract to sell the chickens back to Tyson. The farmer is the one who takes out a mortgage for the land, who buys and builds the barns, and who cares for the animals during their short life. This is actually the part of the process where the most can go wrong. Animals packed so tightly together can get sick. Buildings corrode, extreme weather can damage your land or animals. With so many variables, it's the farmer that takes on the most risk. For nearly a century, this vertically integrated system defined the chicken industry. But in the 1990s, hogs were chickenized.
You know, the key to chicken production is concentrating all those animals into one spot. And hogs had never been raised that way before. And so Tyson had to build these hog barns that looked like chicken barns and figure out how to pack these very large 300-pound mammals into one space and raise them in the same way they raise chickens. And one thing I really need to emphasize, they did this because there was billions of dollars on the table.
Before, hogs were known as mortgage lifters. Farmers would raise other crops and animals, but hogs were always a moneymaker because pork sold for more at the grocery store. In 1992, 97% of farmers were independent. Now 70% of all hogs are sold under contract to buyers like Tyson. By that time, Don Tyson was a billionaire, and he spent most of his time deep-sea fishing or palling around with politicians.
The core DNA of Tyson's business model is that it can go out to massive industrial-scale customers, Walmart, like the grocery chains, and it can promise them consistent high-volume products.
The Colonel's rotisserie gold.
But to do that, Tyson needs to control every element of what's happening on the farm.
Farmers invest a lot in these buildings. To start a CAFO, farmers will take out hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt for land and for structures built to Tyson's specification.
And if they don't comply, they're shit out of luck. No pun intended.
With all that debt and with structures meant for hogs, it makes it difficult for them to leave the business or to convert to a different type of operation.
It really was a true corporate takeover. Tyson created a closed, contract-controlled system, and it destroyed the open and competitive system.
Ron is able to survive because he contracts with a specialty market called Nyman Ranch, a subsidiary of Purdue, that he sells hogs to at a premium, as much as 44% above what conventional producers can get. Any hog that Ron doesn't sell to Nyman, he takes to the local auction in Red Oak. The auction used to be a bustling.
See, these auctions are few and far. These options are few and far between in the United States. They are closing down all of these independent meat packers.
Hub for the community farmers. Now, less than 2% of hogs are sold on the open market.
There isn't another thing like this for a great distance around me. Even within the last 15, 20 years, they have gone from hog buying stations in every county to few and far between. And a lot of folks have been forced to just head them to a weekly sale barn.
You know, there's just not as many auctions around because it's a kind of a dying breed anymore. The big boys, like your confinement and your hog deals, you know, they're all more direct. There's just a lot less competition than what we used to be.
As more farmers...
A lot less competition, a monopoly. These billionaires have a monopoly on our food. So That link is in the description box as well. So I just wanted to. Hakeem Jeffries sells out. Let's get to the Savvy Sab talked about Hakeem Jeffries. The audacity of Hakeem Jeffries looking to be the next Speaker of the House if the Democrats are successful in winning over the House and the Senate, the House in particular. Hakeem Jeffries, a whole fucking sellout, is meeting with Jared Kushner in a closed door meeting. Jared Kushner is no elected official. Jared Kushner is not a official. Is not an official or member of this administration. He is a nepo baby that is getting favors that doesn't have to sign any disclosures. Does not have to sign or reveal any financial disclosures of anything, any monetary gifts that he has gotten under this presidency, as he as he is shuddered in front of our faces as if he is some successful businessman. And I'm curious as to what business they want to say that Jared Kushner has been successful in. I'm very curious. I'm very curious. Wait a minute. Let me go back. Let me. I think I have a different I think I have a different thing that I want to share about this Hakeem Jeffries and Jared Kushner story. Um, uh, Hakeem Jeffries has the audacity to meet with Jared Kushner. But you know who Hakeem Jeffries would not meet with? And Democrats, I am so sick of all of these ushering in nominees. Everybody should have to go through a robust primary. Hakeem Jeffries, there was a man who was actually wanting to primary Hakeem Jeffries, and the Democrat Party didn't want him to primary Hakeem Jeffries. And the funny thing about it, I can't remember. Please forgive me that I can't remember the opponent who wanted to primary Hakeem Jeffrey. But the thing about it is, New York City, a lot of black homeowners in New York cities who have been homeowners who parents have owned a property in New York City, they are being challenged with deed theft. And Letitia James, after the way that the Trump administration tried to have her put in jail behind mortgage fraud, she is another one, in my opinion, who has been slow to act on the deed fraud that is going on in New York City, and then I think. I can't remember what borough that Hakeem Jeffrey is over, but I do remember in particular whatever borough that Hakeem Jeffrey is over. This deed theft was going on in his own borough, but Hakeem Jeffrey wouldn't meet with these black people who was having their deeds stolen, and they're being thrown out of their homes. He wouldn't meet with them, but he would meet with this fucking Jared Kushner. You know, Hakeem Jeffries. Oh my god. I cannot. I cannot believe Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries has gone up back on should there be universal health care. Hakeem Jeffrey is meeting with Jared Kushner behind closed doors. Did you guys know about this? Let's get into Hakeem Jeffries and his bullshit. Talking all of that talk and meeting with the enemy behind closed doors. And the only power that Nepo baby Jared Kushner has is this money that is leaking into his accounts from the Middle East, and with no way of knowing what he is doing in exchange for this money.
One of the number one things those voters want to see in Democratic politicians or DSA politicians is fight. They have seen the last 20 months of the Trump administration with Donald Trump and members of his administration, members of his cabinets, ICE agents, Border Patrol agents, doing literally whatever the fuck they want to do, and nobody is stopping them. Donald Trump's grifting, ICE agents killing people in the streets, and on and on and on. And they want somebody who's going to fight against this.
So, Hakeem Jeffries, he is not going to fight for anyone. And he is waiting to be anointed into the chair of the Speaker of the House when people are voting in their own interests. And Hakeem Jeffries is keeping his lips sealed. You notice Hakeem Jeffries doesn't have much to say in this primary season as they are attacking people under this DSA. Oh, we're going to have communists. We're going to have Marxists in our government based upon a Muslim being elected in the seat upon the policies that he present to the people that the people like. But Hakeem Jeffries is in back rooms meeting with fucking Israel Benjamin Netanyahu buddy, talking about you shouldn't have universal health care. Talking about the DSA platform is too extreme. Well, obviously the agenda that El Sayed ran on was not too extreme. Now, the DSA platform could be very extreme. But what was the Democrat platform that was so weak, so watered down, so Israeli-lated and so corporate-lated that it did not attract the Democrat voters? While you're talking about the DSA, whose messaging is winning, whose policies are winning. Now, understand, Zohran Mamdani is not a DSA, but he is a Muslim, and they're trying to paint all of these brown people with a broad brush, and then a broad brush, and then you got Hakeem Jeffries, of all people, trying to sit down with Jared Kushner after all of the talk has gotten out about how the Democrats may win the primary elections, and talking about how how they can sit down and work together in the Congress. Did the Congress try to work together with Democrats when it was under that sissy Mike Johnson? No, Mike Johnson routinely closed down the Congress so they couldn't bring votes to the floor. So why in the fuck is Hakeem Jeffries sitting down with an unelected official, unelected person? He's not an official. He's an unelected son-in-law of the president, talking about how we can work together if the Democrats win over the Congress. Are you fucking kidding me?
Administration and fight on their behalf economically. 50% of Americans can't afford, they don't make enough money to meet their basic daily financial needs. 50%. groceries, gasoline, housing, utilities, you name it. They want someone who's going to fight. Let alone when you talk about foreign policy, this is not unique to Democratic voters anymore either. Roughly 80% of voters who generally vote for Democrats have a very negative view of Benjamin Netanyahu, the current Israeli government, the current genocide inside the Gaza Strip, and the United States relationship with Israel, economically, militarily, military aid. They want it cut off. You get lower in age demographics, and that number gets up over 90%. Democratic voters want someone who's going to fight and stand up to these things. I'm going to put something on the screen, and you tell me if this is indicative of someone who you think, following the midterms, will be a fighter in this regard. A week to the day after going on Meet the Press and saying that he no longer supports the concept or idea of Medicare for all, but he agrees that we need to have a plan to move forward. He agrees with the idea. He agrees with the idea that people should have health care. The Democratic minority leader in the House of Representatives, Hakeem Jeffries, it's been revealed, met privately with Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, who is not employed by the United States government. Jared Kushner does not work for the United States government. Why is that important? It means he doesn't have to apply for a security clearance. It means he doesn't have to comply with financial disclosure rules. That's why he's not an employee of the U.S. government or the executive branch. That's why he is not employed by his father-in-law, the president of the United States. So he doesn't have to apply for a security clearance, which he couldn't qualify for during Donald Trump's first term, and so that he doesn't have to comply with financial disclosure requirements. Donald Trump has tasked Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff, two real estate developers, with being his special envoys. His special envoys between...
and how has that worked out? How has that worked out? They are... Jared Kushner is successful at that. I already told you about that Flamingo... the Flamingo debacle of Flamingo Island debacle, where they acted as if they were the Columbuses of 2026 and discovered that island, and come to find out it was purchased by some alleged drug dealer, cocaine dealer with nefarious paperwork, and that has fallen through with the prime minister of not Argentina of that country being changing rules and laws to allow them to fictitiously buy a island that didn't belong to the person who was presenting false documents to buy it. And this wasn't the first time this has happened with Jared Kushner. This is the second time. It happened in the Balkans with Jared Kushner trying to buy a large swath of land. These people are not trying to make America great again. These people are trying to escape America with billions of dollars. Why would they be trying to escape America? Let that sink in.
For the conflict between the United States, or excuse me, the genocide between Israel and Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. He is Trump's special envoy in negotiating a settlement to the Iran war. He and Witkoff are Trump's special envoys in negotiating a resolution to Russia's war on Ukraine.
And so, and much like with that 666 real estate deal that he failed in, that the UAE had to bail him out of, much as with anything that they have told you that Jared Kushner is over, he has not been successful in any of these ventures. Let's move forward. A whole shakedown. Let's get into
financial guy and who likes charts breaks down Jared Kushner's hedge fund. And during the time that Kushner has been traveling the Middle East during the last 18 months, he's been seeking to raise another $5 billion for his hedge fund.
Jared Kushner did work in the White House. He worked very hard. It's becoming a little less clear what he actually worked hard at, because after he left the White House, he went out and raised $3.1 billion, that's billion with a B, for a private equity fund. And as you pointed out, he's not a private equity guy. He's a real estate guy.
Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, other non-U.S. investors. Look at that tiny gray little sliver up at the top. United States investors. All of the other investors are in the Middle East or other foreign countries. And Jared Kushner had never run a hedge fund before. The wealth advisors, financial advisors to the Saudi royal family were like, don't give this guy your money. He doesn't know what he's doing. He has no experience running a hedge fund. He doesn't know what he's doing. Don't give him the royal family.
How many times have I talked about this on my channel? I have talked about this extensively on my channel. Yes, they did. They did, and the royal prince overrode them. The sovereign wealth fund did not want to give Jared Kushner $2 billion because he's never been in this business. Why would we give him $2 billion?
Family's money. Mohammed bin Salman gave to him anyway, which again increases the likelihood that it's just a fucking bribe.
So where did this money come from? Some of it we know from filing, some of it we know from press reports. What we know for a fact is he raised the $3.1 billion. What we also know for a fact is that only about $30 million of it actually came from investors in the United States.
1%. 1%. 1%.
All the rest of it is foreign money. And of that foreign money, $2 billion of it came from the Saudis. And not only did it come from the Saudis, but the Public Investment Fund, which is the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund, from which this money came, the board of it voted against giving the money to Jared, and they were overruled by MBS, who said, give him the $2 billion. I've been in this business 40 years. I have never seen someone get $2 billion out of $3 billion, get 2/3 of their money from a single investor. Usually a single investor might be a few percent of the fund, might be 5%, occasionally 10%. Never seen this. Another 200 million, we believe, came from Qatar. Another 200 million, we believe, came from the UAE. And then the 625 million that came from foreign investors that we don't even know who they are. So what was Jared Kushner doing in the White House? And by the way, as a fun fact, on January 6th, the famous January 6th, Jared Kushner was in the Middle East.
Steve, I heard from a prominent Middle East investor a couple weeks ago that there's not much out there on how Jared has actually been able to execute his funding. He's got all this money, but like you and Jonathan said, his background is not in private equity. And I've seen only one news report of a small European investment. He's sitting on all this money. Are the Saudis investing with him just to hedge their bets politically in case Trump comes back into office?
So this segment was filmed before the 2024 election. And I want to unpack a couple of things here. So what is this money for? They're giving it to Jared Kushner to invest on their behalf. So he's going to manage this money for them and invest it.
Okay. How did that work out for the Saudis? Hindsight being 2020. How has that worked out for the Saudis? Now, the Saudis and the UAE are in dismay that they didn't get a return on their investment, and now they are looking to make deals in other places other than the U.S. So, are they going to blame Jared Kushner, or are they going to try to strike out at the USA? The USA wasn't going to gain anything from Jared Kushner getting billions of dollars from the Saudis. We know what happened to a reporter who was making unflattering stories, Khashoggi. We know what happened to him. Your president, in his first term, your president was told by his own intel that MBJ ordered this taking of this reporter's life. But your president said that this MBJ was a great guy and he didn't believe he did it. So, to this Iran war and the devastation that has happened to Saudi Arabia, to Qatar and Bahrain, the UAE, and all of these countries, did they get the money's worth of investment with Jared Kushner that they thought? Having American bases on their soil? Where's Jared Kushner and Ivanka gonna run to now? And how much of America war chest, lives, and treasure is your president going to? What lengths is he going to go to secure them safe passage?
He negotiated a fee for himself in this regard. He gets a management fee of 1.25% of total assets under management per year. So what does that mean? That means that if he has $1 billion in this fund, he gets a management fee of 1.25% or $12.5 million. With $3 billion under management, he gets $37.5 million a year. Even if he does nothing other than put that money into a savings account, if he does nothing, he still personally gets $37.5 million a year. Let's say that he did get that additional $5 billion that he was looking for. That would give him $8 billion under management, and that would be fees to him personally of $100 million per year for doing nothing.
At least those are your words, not mine, but it's certainly a reasonable speculation. Yeah, we haven't seen him do a lot with this money. He has hired some people. I do know that. I think you mentioned to me during the break that you'd seen one investment that I hadn't even seen. I've seen nothing else about what he's actually done with the money. It is normal to invest this money over a period of several years. So I don't think we can draw a firm conclusion yet. But again, we're going back to a guy who's a real estate guy, and frankly, not a particularly good one at that, who suddenly got $3 billion trying to do private equity deals, competing against people who've been in the business a long time. And I wouldn't, if I were the Saudis, count on making a lot of money from this anytime soon.
It's so there's that. So there's that. And then let's see here if I can figure this out. Then we all remember this, because as I said, Donald Trump has tasked Jared Kushner with solving the current Middle East conflict, the Israeli genocide against the Gaza Strip. And this was a conversation.
Now, we remember, how many times have I played this for you, where Jared Kushner was talking to Harvard before about the Middle East, before they had the audacity to come out here and put it in writing this great Gaza plan, and with Trump in gold statues, and actually having the AI mock-up of this tacky Gaza, looking like a gilded Las Vegas with Trump statues and all of this shit. I played this for you a long time ago about Kushner talking about how Gaza was great waterfront property and Netanyahu ought to get rid of all of them and build up the property.
About that.
There are real fears on the part of Arabs, and I'm sure you talk to a lot of them, who think once Gazans leave Gaza, Netanyahu's never going to let them back in.
Once Gazans leave Gaza, I mean, this whole exercise by Netanyahu, the Israeli government, and Ben Gvir and Smotrich and the Israeli military inside the Gaza Strip is ethnic cleansing. They want the land. They want the land. So once Gazans leave Gaza, none of them are going to do that voluntarily. Just an interesting way to phrase that.
Maybe, but I'm not sure there's much left of Gaza at this point. I mean, Gaza's
I wonder why that is, Jared.
waterfront property. It could be very valuable to if people. I'm not sure there's much left of Gaza at this point. In Gaza's waterfront property, it could be very valuable to if people would focus on kind of building up livelihoods. You think about all the money that's gone into this tunnel network and into all the munitions. If that would have gone into education or innovation, what could have been done? And so I think that it's a little bit of an unfortunate situation there. But I think from Israel's perspective, I would do my best to move the people out.
Now, this was before Jared Kushner. This was before Trump's second administration. He said this. Now, this is the same Jared Kushner that stood on the world stage and lied to you in that big presentation that they had signed a peace agreement between Hamas and the Israelis. Let that make sense. And everybody knew, well, anybody with good sense knew that was a bullshit peace agreement. There was no peace agreement at all because no one signed it. And they had all of these dignitaries to fly out and to pretend and lie to your face that they had some peace agreement. And then I just played it for you yesterday while Jared Kushner said that if this doesn't happen and if that doesn't happen, Israel should go on and basically finish the deal
and then clean it up. But I don't think
now. Let's be real clear that this is not an elected official. This is not someone who does not work for your government. This is someone who Benjamin Netanyahu used to visit in his childhood home, who he would have to give up his bed for when Benjamin Netanyahu visited his childhood home. There are questions if Jared Kushner is Mossad. There are questions. I didn't make up this question. I don't give a fuck if he is or isn't. But I know this is a whole lot of bullshit that we're listening to right here.
That Israel has stated that they don't want the people to move back there afterwards.
So Jared Kushner is also a profoundly stupid man. His dad had to pay Harvard $2 million to get him into Harvard. He's the classic Nepo baby. I mean, it's like, think about that last statement that he just said. I don't think that Israel has said they don't want Palestinians coming back to Gaza. Just in this last week, Defense Minister Ben Gvir, who's in charge of the police in Israel, and who is himself a settler in the West Bank, along with Smotrich, is also a settler in the West Bank, living there illegally. Just this week, Ben Gvir kind of unveiled this execution facility where the public will be permitted to come and watch Palestinians be hung by the neck until dead. Ben Gvir also said this week that Israelis should be killing 30 to 40 Palestinians inside the Gaza Strip every night, that they are not people. And because they are not people, their lives are not worthy of any kind of consideration at that level. one last clip about what Jared Kushner is doing right now when it comes to the Iran war. He said that there have been very productive talks that are taking place. Donald Trump has contradicted that on a daily basis. But let's look at this exchange between Tim Miller and Tom Nichols from a couple of days ago on the Bulwark podcast.
The son-in-law emerged. He did an interview with Fox, naturally. And I want to play a clip from it. And I have a lot of issues with the clip.
Yeah, so I can't go into the details of it, but I will say that the conversations between the U.S. government and different areas of the Iranian government at all areas is probably more robust than it's maybe ever been.
Hi. He's just... I'm going to rewind this a little bit here. He uses these words. He has the speak down. The deployment.
There's no negotiations going on between the United States and Israel. They have not poised one name. Different parts of the Iranian government. There are no different parts. They are the official or negotiators, or they are not. They try to play like he's saying. They try to play these word games. So if you try to pinpoint them, well, the IRGC. Said that they are not in negotiation. Well, we've never said them. We're talking to different aspects of the. It's a bunch of bullshit, a bunch of word salad, lies, and bullshit.
Diplomacy speak, the government speak, the professionals speak. He has the speak down, but he has absolutely no fucking idea what he's doing. And watch Tom Nichols' first couple comments after Jared Kushner gets done speaking, because they're spot on.
Is probably more robust than it's maybe ever been.
Hi, I'm a private citizen with no security clearance and no standing in the U.S. government, but I can't tell you anything that's going on because it's very sensitive.
Yeah, that is an issue for me. I mean, you're talking to the U.S. Who are you? I love how he says the U.S. government has additional relations. Is that you? Are you the U.S. government? Are you speaking on behalf of the U.S. government? You're not in the fucking U.S. government. Your dad is your father-in-law is the president. That's it. Also, why are you morphing into a lizard person? What is happening with his face? He doesn't look like a natural human.
Well, I'm not going to do any mug shaming, but I mean, imagine Obama saying, yeah, well, we got some problems. I'm going to send Sasha and Malia over, and they're going to, but they can't tell you. Yeah.
They can't tell you what's happening.
They can't tell you.
Marvin Bush is the point person.
I mean, I did a video a couple days ago where I just said everything is absurd and stupid. Fuck. So Maggie Haberman and Annie Carney, two very well-respected reporters, Representative Hakeem Jeffries, Democrat of New York, and the minority leader in the House, met privately in recent weeks with Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law and top outside advisor, and discussed potential areas of common ground, according to 5 people with knowledge of the meeting. The rare engagement was held in a private space in New York City, offered up by a mutual friend of the two men. Good thing Jeffrey Epstein's dead, or I would have guessed it was him, according to 2 people with knowledge of the meeting and a third who was briefed on it. They and others were granted anonymity to discuss a meeting about which they were not authorized to speak publicly. Okay? 5 people. I would imagine the number of people who know about this meeting was pretty fucking small. And 5 of them who don't have permission to speak about the meeting publicly are speaking about the meeting publicly as long as they can remain anonymous. They're allowed to speak about it publicly. Through aides, neither man would comment on the session, which was described by one person with knowledge of it as a broad conversation on a range of topics. Still, its timing underscored that the only fucking conversation that Hakeem Jeffries should be having with Jared Kushner is under subpoena in a fucking televised hearing in front of the House in January.
Period, point blank. The simple fact that Hakeem Jeffries sat up there and had the audacity to meet with Jared Kushner. The audacity to meet with Jared Kushner about some meeting of the minds of the Congress. When did Jared Kushner want to have meetings of the mind when it was a GOP led Congress? Are you fucking serious with this bullshit, Hakeem Jeffries? Oh, this is just so disgusting. If Jared Kushner is running Hakeem Jeffries at the mere thought prior to the midterm elections that Hakeem Jeffrey may be Speaker of the House, what would happen if the Democrats win the midterm election and Hakeem Jeffrey becomes the Speaker of the House? By God Almighty, Hakeem Jeffries should never be allowed to be Speaker of the House, because in fact, that would mean that Jared Kushner will be the Speaker of the House. Hakeem Jeffries is trash for this, in my personal opinion.
That's the only fucking conversation that Hakeem Jeffries should be having with Jared Kushner, not some other fucking backroom. Here's where I struggle. We have really two parties in this country. We have the Democratic Party and we have the Republican Party. Within the Democratic Party, there's also some democratic socialism rumbling these days. Democratic establishment is doing absolutely every single thing it fucking can to smash that out into non-existence, because Democratic socialist candidates actually listen to Democratic voters, unlike elected Democratic establishment corporate APAC types. Those types don't like the fact that DSA candidates listen to actual voters and make promises to them based on what those voters actually want, thereby gaining the votes of those voters. So we have this fucking clown show over here, and we have Republicans who are a pro-fascist, pro-authoritarian political party. So it's like, do you want a fucking shit sandwich, or do you want a shit sandwich with ketchup?
Just letting you know that Hakeem Jeffrey is a cuck, a whole pussy out here. Just in case you didn't know. Is there anything else that I wanted to? I was just disgusted. Utterly and thoroughly disgusted. Let me see. Is there anything else? Tech oligarchs are in a panic. But Hakeem Jeffrey is meeting with oligarchs like a dummy. And Israel is targeting Turkey. Now, Turkey, the UAE, and who was it? Turkey, UAE, and who was the third? What was the third country? Was it Oman? Correct me if I'm wrong. Have put together some type of a deal together, and I said, well, I don't know how that's going to work because Israel is already talking about attacking Turkey. Now, how is Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and some other country? How is Saudi Arabia and Pakistan? Because Pakistan has nuclear weapons. Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey have some mutual agreement. And someone was pondering, well, did they make that agreement just in case Iran strikes in the Saudi Arabia again, and they will be scared to strike in Saudi Arabia again because Pakistan has nuclear weapons? And I was like, I don't see that feasible, because Pakistan was the emissary who with the negotiations between the United States and Iran. It wasn't anyone else. Pakistan was the one who was pushing for the negotiation. And when the United States showed up with dumb shit, bullshit, and not honoring their word, it was Pakistan who was keeping the negotiations at a professional level, when we had the clown show of Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff and JD Vance and all the other sycophants that showed up under the guise of making some type of negotiation. So now Israel is targeting Turkey. How the fuck would the Saudis be protected from the U.S. attacking them when the U.S. ally is about to attack Turkey, their ally? So why would Saudi Arabia expect to be protected from Iran when one of the big reasons that the MOU did not go into effect is because one of the orders in the MOU was that Israel must leave Lebanon, and they didn't leave Lebanon. So Israel has always been the thing that ruined any success of any negotiations in this war between the United States and Iran. And even before then, Israel, while this war is going on in Iran, Israel is over in South Lebanon, tearing down shit, and also talking about attacking Turkey. Israel don't have enough people to attack. So how is it that they're supposed to be protected from the Saudi Arabia is supposed to be protected from attacks by Iran because they are in line with Turkey, but Turkey cannot be protected from attacks from Israel, who is America's ally. The fuck out of here. The fuck out of here. So I'm just wondering if Saudi Arabia has seen that all of this shit with the United States and Israel makes absolutely no sense. I'm just curious what is the bottom line for Saudi Arabia now that overrode their sovereign wealth decision to give Jared Kushner $2 billion, and they got absolutely nothing in return. Let me find this. Sabi Sabs, she always have generals and things. This is going to be in my description box. Let me find this portion of. Let me find this portion. The conversation. Gail King, you should check this link out anyway. It's good. Gail King is doing a Oprah on what is that name? That white actress that died, Hayden Panettiere, questioning her death. Gail King is trash. Gail King is trash, in my opinion. Trash, I tell you.
Is the real view count. It just does not make sense to me. I don't think this video received 500 views, which isn't really accurate. Does everybody get what I'm saying? It's kind of like this tweet where you see here, it says, this tweet from YouTube received 14.2 million views. So that's how many people saw it. And then you'll see here that 31,000 people liked it, right? And 9,000 people retweeted. Now, I want to explain to people, basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to get more brand, more investors, more sponsors. I don't think advertisers are going to fall for that. Anyway.
Here we go.
Well, a just world is possible but now with America. Is this the kind of guy you would want on your border? And October.
All over the East Coast then. Okay. Larry, some crazy things are going on now. I want to get into the Turkey situation.
Yeah.
So, guys, this video came out. Let me go just play this for everybody so everyone understands what's going on. Ryan Rosbiani says Netanyahu turns Turkey into his next election threat. So, the Israeli government right now is threatening to target Turkey. Everyone listen to this.
Ask, why should Israel be concerned about Turkish forces in Syria? Well, because Turkish President Erdogan has openly called for Israel's destruction. He even said about our closest partner, the United States, that, well, a just world is possible, but not with America. Is this the kind of guy you would want on your border? And October 7th made it clear to everyone. When your enemy tells you that he wants to destroy you, you should probably believe him. Prime Minister Netanyahu has also made something else very clear. Israel welcomes a return to the previous status quo. We are not looking for escalation, but neither Turkey nor any other country is going to threaten the state of Israel.
Larry, boy, let's get into this. Israel targeting Turkey now.
Yeah, well, Israel reminds me of that scene from the movie Deer Hunter with Christopher Walken at the end, where he's sitting in Vietnam playing Russian roulette, puts bullet in a revolver, spins it, puts the gun to his head, pulls the trigger. That's Israel. I mean, right now, Israel is dependent on Turkey for its oil. And so what's Israel doing? Trying to provoke a confrontation with Turkey. Instead of letting Turkey's rhetoric, whatever Erdogan says, Erdogan is just a big hot air balloon, and he's been all over the map in terms of what he said. But the one thing Turkey can do, which it has refused to do up to this point, is cut Israel off from the oil that flows from Azerbaijan through Turkey. Now, the Azeris are pretty nervous about this because they're moving to try to broker some, reconciliation between Israel and Turkey. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Turkey now apparently they've made a decided shift. That it's evidenced by the reports that Turkey, Saudi, and Pakistan have invited Iran to join the Mecca agreement. And guess who's traveling to Tehran today? So it's now early Monday morning in Tehran. One Asim Munir, the military chieftain of Pakistan, who's really the guy that's in charge, and he's going to Iran to talk a long list, not just having Iran join a this Mecca agreement. I call it the Me Too, Middle East Treaty Organization. So not just to join the Me Too, but also to talk to Iran about a bilateral security agreement between Iran and Pakistan. That news just came out on a transition protocol. Pepe Escobar and Zulfikar Ali were discussing it. It just popped up on the web about 30 minutes ago.
So I want to show people that too, because I was kind of surprised about that. The Cradle was talking about this as well, so you guys can see it here. Iran is reviewing an invitation to join the Mecca Joint Defense Agreement signed by Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey. Mehdi Harimi, head of Iranian's Parliament Official News Agency, said in an interview. And then Rahimi said Iran had received an invitation to join the agreement and was currently considering the proposal. And I gotta ask, I didn't expect something like this to happen.
Obviously, I didn't expect something like this to happen either. I was just talking about this 3-part deal between Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey. You mean to tell me Iran has been invited to join this pact? Well, I don't have to wonder anymore. I wonder what's in store with Jared Kushner since MBS gave him $2 billion and got little for his investment, as it was expected.
And so why do you think that this is, they even reached out to invite Iran? I mean, they didn't reach out to invite Israel. So what do you think is what's really pushing this? I'm shocked. I'm going to tell you, I'm really shocked.
Israel's the problem. Israel's the threat. Israel's the one that's attacking everybody in its borders and outside of its borders. So really the foundation of this goes back to the last week in April when Foreign Minister Araghchi of Iran traveled to Moscow.
Hey,
and
Nubi.
in the wake of meetings with Vladimir Putin, President Putin came out and called for a new security architecture in the Gulf. A week later, Araghchi's in Beijing, meeting with Wang Yi, the foreign minister. And comes out of that meeting, and Wang Yi, parrots what Putin said. We need a new security architecture. Pakistan has been, let's call it, an actor on behalf of China in this.
Pakistan has been an actor in the for China. Hey, Lena, pretty brown eyes. It's good to see you. This is very interesting.
Entire affair. Now, the United States has also turned to Pakistan, but I think what we're seeing is these countries are now recognizing that China and Russia may have a point, that their past reliance on the United States has made them more vulnerable, has hurt them economically, and it hasn't left them unprotected. And so now they're saying
they got zero from aligning with the United States, but harm and despair and debrised cities, and their pockets flipped out like bunny ears from Jared Kushner. Let's continue.
Yeah, maybe we need to protect ourselves because the United States is not to be trusted. So I think that if the reports that we receive through the transition protocol channel are true, that this is not something that's thought of to happen a year from now or 2 years from now. It could actually move much quicker. And if Iran does in fact sign on to that, Donald Trump's going to probably have to take some ulcer medicine because it's going to create some discomfort.
This would be the ultimate embarrassment to
Yes.
like the Trump administration.
Correct. Yeah. No, I mean this is big if it goes through. Now we're already. So right now it's early Monday morning in Tehran. Today's D-Day, according to Scott Bessent. This is the economic D-Day. And Iran's made it very clear. Any of the Gulf countries that participate in any kind of economic warfare on Iran, that Iran's going to strike their economic interests, not economically, militarily. And I think one of the prime candidates.
And Iran said that they're going to be striking their data centers. All of these American data centers that they have in their countries. Yeah, they sure did. Now, yeah, let's continue. Those are American oligarchs.
That's at the top of the list will be the United Arab Emirates. Possibly Qatar, but I think Qatar's come to its senses. But, the efforts now of MBS, Erdogan, with Pakistan, and the fact that Asim Munir is making this trip. So he'll be, if he's not already on his way, he'll be in Iran, early, in about 8 hours, quick flight from Islamabad. And we'll be sitting down and talking to Galibaf, to Pezeskian, to Arachi, and possibly to, we'll speak with the Ayatollah, Mustafa Khamenei.
This is a big deal, you guys. Again, I never thought I'd see this happen, but there.
This link is in my description box. This economic D-Day, if anybody trade with Iran, they are going to have hell to pay economically from the U.S. Let's see what China had to say about that. Let's see how China took that warning. Shall we? Shall we?
Tonight, China has just completely shattered Donald Trump's plans for an economic blockade against Iran, dealing a massive blow to America's global standing. Iranian Foreign Minister Syed Abbas Araghchi was quick to deliver a brutal reality check, reminding Trump that Barack Obama tried the exact same so-called crippling blockade 14 years ago, only to be forced back to the negotiating table. But that's not the only bombshell breaking tonight. An explosive new ITV News investigations in the UK has exposed how the UAE hired an Israeli-Hungarian mercenary to run a covert assassination plot against a prominent Muslim academic right here on the British soil. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, the Houthis have unleashed advanced new drone technology, striking targets deep inside Saudi territory. This will be the broad focus of my video tonight. Also in this video, a look at the spectacular collapse of Lindsey Graham's sister, Darlene Graham,
stupid.
whose complete ignorance on international relations during a recent debate has left her facing certain defeat in her Senate race.
Maybe
so
not.
Please stay tuned. High-stakes economic D-Day campaign by the deranged occupant of the White House against Iran is rapidly disintegrating into a historic diplomatic disaster. Instead of isolating Iran, Trump has managed to isolate the United States, locking his administration into a humiliating, never-ending cycle of public snubs. The ultimate rebuke just came from Beijing. The Chinese government completely shredded Washington's playbook, forcefully rejecting Trump's sanctions as flat-out illegal. China, which buys over 80% of Iran's oil, openly declared that pressure does not help resolve the problem and refused to abandon Tehran. Listen to the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson, translation and voiceover done by 15-year-old Weifi.
Sanctions and pressure will not help resolve the issue. China calls on all relevant parties to take responsible measures and resolve the problem through political and diplomatic means. China opposes illegal unilateral sanctions that have no basis in international law and are not authorized by the UN Security Council.
And China isn't alone in handing Trump this humiliating defeat. This follows South Korea's refusal to comply. This is how Trump had reacted when South Korea refused to join America against Iran.
Very nice, actually. But I called him. I said, would you like to give us a little hand? We don't need help with Iran. But if you'd like, give us a hand with Iran. He said, no, thanks. And I said, wait a minute. We have 39,000 soldiers over there guarding you from Kim Jong-un, your next door neighbor. And you're not going to help us on a very easy military operation in Iran? That's strange. No, we'd rather not get involved. I say, well.
What's strange is you said you won the war every time you talked about the war. What's strange is you're asking them for help. What's strange is you feel dejected when they said, no, we ain't got nothing to do with your dumb fucking war. Where's Israel, the one who got you into this war? Where's their help? Fuck you calling us for? That's what's strange.
Why are we involved in helping you? So, and I want to help them, but you know, when you ask somebody, would you like to give us a hand? And they say, no, thanks. And then we're guarding them from a country and paying ourselves billions of, it's costing us billions and billions of dollars to protect.
And now the rebellion is spreading into Europe. Spain and other key European nations are signaling that they too have no intention of cutting off their energy supplies just to...
But are you not paying Israel billions and billions of dollars? Are you not paying them billions and billions of dollars? Where are they with their help? You got your nose out of whack. Where is Israel with their help? Get the fuck out of here.
Satisfy the ego of a delusional fool from the White House by threatening the so-called tremendous economic consequences against the entire world. Trump has overplayed his hand and exposed the severe limits of US leverage. The global community is openly defying Washington's diktat, leaving Trump's foreign policy exposed, toothless, and deeply embarrassed on the world stage. Trump's deputy, J.D. Vance, too, was asked if he knew just how long Iran can survive these latest sanctions. His answer was like, well, that's not important. And this is a guy who aspires to become the president of the US.
So realistically, and just real quick, before I let you go, how long do you think Iran can survive with these economic pressures on them?
You know, it's always tough to predict that, and that's honestly not really our focus. They're under a ton of pressure.
Well, why would you put sanctions on someone and not be focused on how long it would take to break for these sanctions to break them? Isn't the whole point of putting sanctions on someone is to break them, that they will not be able to bear this? Isn't that why 45, 47 has been coming out? Their inflation has gone up 300%. They're broke. They have nothing. They have this. Isn't that trying to say that these D-Day sanctions would ruin them and they will come crawling to the table quickly? Isn't that the whole point of these sanctions? But now all of a sudden, that's not the point. We're going to talk about J.D. Vance next. This dumb nut.
That pressure is conducive to our goal of ensuring they don't have a nuclear weapon. Whether they can survive a couple of weeks or a couple of months or possibly longer, so long as they don't have a nuclear weapon, that's what we're focused on. That's what the president, frankly, has already.
And how does that ensure that? How would any of this ensure that they don't have a nuclear weapon? The sanctions. How would that ensure any of this? You sound stupid.
Accomplished. We're just trying to ensure they don't try to rebuild that program, and that's going to require some consistent engagement. But again, if you look at just where this is today versus a few months ago, oil has come down substantially. Gas prices are down about 50 cents from their peak. We have shown an ability to do something amazing for our national security while also doing something that protects the economic interests of the American people.
Clip. Iran knows Israeli slave Trump's weaknesses. No weapons, rapidly falling approval ratings ahead of November's midterm polls, and rising fuel costs hitting average Americans. Trump simply doesn't have any cards left against Iran. Iranian Foreign Minister Syed Abbas Araghchi quoted a tweet of Barack Obama from 2012, when Israeli lapdog Biden had also made a similar claim about crippling Iran with sanctions. Araghchi wrote, and I quote, 14 years ago, most crippling sanctions in history failed. 8 years ago, maximum pressure failed. 5 months ago, unconditional surrender failed. Today, most crushing economic operation ever, bound to fail. We have seen this move before. Same bull, different bullies. End quote. BBC's international editor, Jeremy Bowen, kind of agrees.
I think that this is more frustration in the Trump administration about the fact that they are struggling to find a way out of this war, and that Iran is not taking any of the potential exits from it. For example, that almost no longer relevant memorandum of understanding a couple of months ago. And so I think that where they're at the moment is that Iran knows that the Americans don't want to go back to war. They know that there are elections coming, and they are as well aware as anybody of those in America who have said very specifically that they're running out of the kind of weapons that they need to protect their forces if they go back to war. In other words, the interceptors, because they burn through so many of them. So I think Iran at the moment will be thinking, yeah, this is a lot, this is pressure, but we can deal with it.
And it still controls the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, that is enormous leverage. That impacts all of us financially.
Yeah, and that's leverage that Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu gave them by going to war. The leverage was always there because people could see how narrow it was and could see where Iran was right next to it. But under the supreme leader, the former supreme leader who was killed on the first day of the war by the Israelis, he was a cautious, elderly man who, while being aware of these potential weapons, didn't necessarily want to use them. As far as the younger guys who are now running Iran are concerned, many from the IRGC, the Guard Corps, what's happening is that they don't have that caution. They have all the ideology, but they don't have that kind of caution. They believe they're in an existential fight, so they're using the Strait of Hormuz, and it's a great weapon for them, and it was open until the US and Israel went to war with them.
Now I want you to take a look at this video. Just look closely at this footage, representing everything evil about the current German society.
What was your reaction when you heard a serving Israeli cabinet member, calling for 30 to 40 people to be killed in Gaza every night?
I wouldn't say it's nothing new, but you also have to see the context. He has been questioned by a hostage, and this is also the context of his, request for the death penalty. The idea that people get away without being punished.
It was a bit beyond that. This particular comment. I mean, he also talked about how he believed that these people were not worthy of life. Rhetoric like this. To what extent do you see this dehumanizing Palestinians and further undermining civilian protection?
Well, there's a process of dehumanization ongoing since the 7th of October, and the biggest act of dehumanization is the 7th of October. Babies have been burned, women have been raped, and people have held a hostage, starved for more than 700 days. So, I mean, there's a history of dehumanization, which was, started by the attack of 7th of October. So we have to put this into the context, which I don't want to justify it, but it makes...
Yeah, that's what you just tried to do. You just tried to justify it. Bitch, please. Bitch, please.
It's unacceptable until the very day. And I think also, to eliminate individuals is for us in Europe unacceptable, but just another context. We know the assassination of Osama bin Laden. And so it is the way how you deal with terrorists who do not want to disarm, who do not want to, negotiate, who do not want to have a political solution. It's a difficult one.
The woman who you just watched is German MEP, Hildegard Bentil. Watch her face. Watch the facial expression as she sits there effortlessly justifying the genocidal rhetoric of Israeli terrorist Ben Gvir. There is a cold, chilling disconnect in this woman's eyes, a smirk of absolute indifference while defending words that openly dehumanize millions of Palestinians trapped in a living hell. The mask of European civilization hasn't just slipped, it has been completely shattered. Let's talk about Germany. For decades, the German state has lectured the world on human rights, historical guilt, and the sacred vow of never again. We were told they learned their lesson. We were told they understood the ultimate cost of state-sponsored dehumanization. But look at where they stand today. History is repeating itself in the most grotesque way possible. And Germany is actively choosing to be on the wrong side of it again. How does a nation go from professing eternal shame over its past to actively enabling, defending, and financing the erasure of Gaza? Let's call it what it is: Then it was Nazi Germany orchestrating a horror that scarred humanity forever. Today, it is the Gaza Holocaust, and official Germany is not a bystander. It is an active participant. When politicians like Hildegard Bentil use their platforms to sanitize genocidal chants, they are nodding along to the destruction of an entire people. They aren't just failing to stop it, they are legitimizing it. The moral superiority is gone.
You know what amazes me? You know what really amazes me? That these people have absolutely no shame. They actually look for ways to rationalize all of this barbarity. This link is in my description box. Let's see where we are today.
The Iran war has clearly disturbed the mental state of Donald Trump, as he made a series of crazy utterances while campaigning for Darlene Graham in South Carolina. Iran's newly appointed Supreme National Security Council Chief Mohsen Rezai has dropped a major hint at his country's future path towards attaining nuclear power. Yemen's Ansarullah fighters, also known as the Houthis, have struck their enemy targets by using new but devastatingly powerful drones. The trade talks between the US and Canada have collapsed, and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has recalled his negotiating team back to Ottawa. This will be the broad focus of my video tonight. Also in this video, Aisha Wahab becomes the first Afghan-American woman to enter Congress. In her first public reaction, she defends the call to stop military aid to the genocidal entity of Israel. So please stay tuned. Let's start with South Carolina, where the deranged occupant of the White House painted a terrifying picture of his rapidly declining mental health. When this Israeli slave took to the stage on a Friday night to campaign for interim Senator Darlene Graham, we witnessed something extraordinary.
If you guys didn't see this, him standing on the stage trying to pretend that airhead Lindsey Graham's sister, no nothing ass, should be the next senator of North Carolina, when she knows nothing about national security, and that should be applauded. What I forgot to show that on my show Friday. What I hope you did not miss that someone, he was heckled in the audience by someone giving him the hard two middle fingers, and then unexpectedly somebody in front of him turned around in a t-shirt, and the back of his t-shirt read something to the effect, don't quote me, to the effect that all pedophiles should be unalived. I don't know if he shows this in this, but it seems like this is what he's talking about.
This wasn't just a political rally. It was a window into a deeply unhinged and terrified mind. Let's start with foreign policy. Trump openly admitted to the crowd that he basically had absolutely no idea how to actually handle the escalating crisis with Iran.
Gone, parts of their third set of the leaders. In fact, it's actually one of my biggest problems. I don't know who the hell to deal with. It's a problem. It's the only country in the world where nobody wants to be president. They say, who wants to be president? No, I don't want to be president. So it's a little bit of a problem.
But instead of leaving it to diplomacy, he casually talked about bombing Iran yet again, without realizing his country doesn't have any bombs left. He looks out at a crowd on a Friday evening and essentially suggests launching a devastating bombing campaign against Iran, as if he's deciding what to do for a weekend hobby.
Not every. Look, it's a Friday night. We have plenty of time, right? What the hell do I have to do? Go back, bomb Iran a little bit more? What the hell?
Think about the psychological detachment here required to do that. He's talking about starting a massive geopolitical conflict, a war that would cost thousands, if not millions, of human lives, with the same casual, careless attitude you would use to talk about hitting the golf course. It's a complete absence of empathy. It shows a man who views human life as nothing more than a disposable prop for his own reality TV spectacle. Are we surprised why the same man had once bragged about not caring to know the impact of his war on the standard of living for the Americans? Now it's clear why. When a leader treats global destruction like a Friday night hobby, we aren't just looking at bad policy anymore. We are looking at a terrifying breakdown of basic rational thought. But why is he so erratic right now? Because underneath all the tough guy bluster, this Israeli lapdog is absolutely frightened. And he admitted it out loud. Right there on stage, he told his supporters, I'm going to be impeached. They are going to impeach me. They have no idea why. He's looking directly at the upcoming 2026 midterm polls.
Did years ago, they're going to flee our country. I'm going to be impeached. They're going to impeach me. They have no idea why. I saw today a congressman said on one of the shows, we're going to impeach President Trump. We're going to impeach. Oh, really? Why? The person was asking. A neutral commentator for a change. I like neutral commentators. Oh, I see. You're going to impeach him. Why? Well, I don't know. I don't know.
He sees his approval ratings sliding and he's panicking. He knows that if the Republicans lose control of Congress this November, his shield is gone. He is explicitly begging his base to pretend he is on the ballot just to save his own skin. This isn't the behavior of a confident commander-in-chief. This is the behavior of a cornered, desperate politician who is losing his ability to think or act rationally. He's running out of road. His power is slipping away. And when Trump feels threatened, he lashes out with the most dangerous rhetoric imaginable, whether that means threatening a third world war or projecting his own legal panic onto his voters. The mask is entirely off. He's not fighting for America anymore. He's willing to burn everything down just to keep himself out of the hot seat. But there is even a greater worry for Trump, if he is in the right state of mind to understand the intensity of this development. Iran's newly appointed Supreme National Security Council chief, Mohsen Rezai, has dropped a hint that his country could well be on its way to acquire nuclear weapons. According to Iran's Tasnim news agency, Rezai said, and I quote, Trump's recklessness with his attacks on Iran has increased the desire of people around the world to acquire nuclear weapons, especially when they saw that membership in the International Atomic Energy Agency and the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, also known as the NPT, was ineffective in preventing attacks from the United States. End quote. I wonder what this would do to an already crippling state of Trump's mental well-being. Such is the condition of the mental state of this coward that he is now busy attacking a Senate candidate from Michigan, Abdul El-Sayed. He's literally comparing himself to an inexperienced politician who has yet to win a Senate election.
Terrible what's gone on in Illinois. But in Michigan, the Democrat nominee for Senate, Abdul El-Sayed, admitted
So here we go with the overt racism. Barack Hussein Obama, Abdul El-Sayed. Can you dog whistle a little louder for us? You idiot. Let's continue.
Openly that he wants to pack the Supreme Court with 23 far-left justices to shred the Constitution of the United States. His sister, very close relationship, celebrated the terrorist slaughter of babies on October 7th. His mother worked for an organization that gave hundreds of thousands of dollars to a gentleman named Osama bin Laden. Have you heard of him? Knocked down the World Trade Center.
And if this delusional fool is devoting his time and energy on Abdul al-Sayyad, why would his minion?
You know, what I also heard about the people who knocked down the World Trade Center. I heard that there were a lot of Saudi nationals involved in that, but nothing is said about that. As Jared Kushner takes billions of dollars from the Saudi royal family. Nothing is said about that, as your president had the Saudi royal prince coming to the White House and rub all over him like he was a starstruck child. Oh, okay. Let's continue.
J.D. Vance be left behind?
It's sometimes actually hard to understand, like, what do these modern Democrats actually stand for? But look what they say. Pay close attention, and they'll leave these little hints of what they actually care about. Now, El Sayed, this guy running for Senate in Michigan, he once argued, not too long ago, that criticisms of Sharia law were rooted in white supremacy. I'd love to go back in time and tell my papaw that there's a man who claims to stand for working people who says not only should we have Sharia law, but if you criticize it, you're a white supremacist. That's not my papaw's Democrat Party, my friends.
But Abdul al-Sayyad had a...
So, my thing is about your papaw, about your old papaw, about your old papaw. So you're going to got a lie to your old papaw about him saying something about Sharia. Why is there even an argument about Sharia law? Is it because he's a Muslim American, and now you are trying to scare your papaw and the people in your district where your papaw live about him trying to bring Sharia law to the United States? So why are we even talking about Sharia law if you are not trying to implement your white supremacy? If your white supremacy's motives is not why we are talking about Sharia law in the first place, I'm curious. Why has Sharia law become a conversation in the United States when these Muslim people are elected upon the platform that they present to the voters? Why is Sharia law thrown into the mix? They didn't put Sharia law into the mix. You motherfuckers who try to demonize brown Muslim people have the ones who pretty soon we're going to have some Sharia law in our country. We're going to be governed by Sharia law. Because these people campaign what they wanted for the voters in their campaign, and their voters said, hey, we want that too. And now you're trying to position him as someone who is talking about white supremacists. Well, he wouldn't have to be talking about any of it if you hadn't and your supporters hadn't brought up this bullshit talk about Sharia law. Will now be the law of the land. As if Christianity, this is a Christian country. This is a Christian country. This country was founded on Christianity. No, this is not a Christian or Sharia law country. This country was not found on any religion. So why is that even a topic with you, Vice President Vance? This is not a topic of conversation. This is a topic of trying to divide people on shit that don't matter, and it's not going to change the lives of how people in America live their lives. This is some bullshit.
brilliant reply to both of them. Responding to Trump, Al-Sayed took a dig at the US president by dragging his mystery woman, Natalie Harp, as he wrote, and I quote, "Natalie, I think he's had a little too much iPad for the week. He needs his rest." End quote. As for JD Vance, he wrote, and I quote, "So do we think JD is taking Usher with him back in time to meet Papa or no?" End quote. Whatever you say, American politics has suddenly become refreshingly exciting.
Now, JD Vance want to talk about somebody is pretending to be practicing in Sharia law. So, JD, you taking your Indian wife back in time to visit your pawpaw? Huh? Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. Bravo. Applauses all around the building. Bravo.
I can't wait to be there. Elsewhere in Yemen, while global headlines focused on the high-tech naval blockades in the Red Sea, an entirely different and highly lethal asymmetric war is playing out right in the front lines. The Houthis are systematically shifting their tactical strategy toward a swarm-style drone war, deploying low-cost, heavily modified commercial quadcopters and hexacopters, such as the Rajum drone system. What makes this development terrifying is the sheer contrast between cost and capability. These aren't multi-million-dollar military assets. They are fundamentally civilian consumer drones, bought for a few $1,000s, retrofitted with custom underslung racks to carry up to 6 unguided mortar rounds or modified grenades. Yet, this cheap, off-the-shelf technology is causing widespread devastation. Just days ago in Marib, a single Houthi hexacopter hovered silently over a forward position and successfully disabled a multi-million-dollar Saudi M1A2 Abrams main battle tank, leaving it engulfed in flames. By dropping explosives directly onto the thinnest part of the tank's top turret armor, a drone worth less than a smartphone completely neutralized one of the most advanced armored vehicles in the world. Worse still for coalition forces, the Houthis have begun deploying fiber optic tethered FTP drones. By unspooling an ultra-thin glass wire during flight, these drones bypass radio frequencies entirely, making them completely immune to Western electronic warfare and jamming shields. As these invisible snipers in the sky continue to pin down ground troops and take out heavy machinery, they prove that in modern warfare, you no longer need a massive budget to cripple a superpower's military. In another blow to Trump, the trade deal talks between the US and Canada have collapsed. The collapse of the US-Canada trade talks marks an unprecedented fracture between the world's closest economic allies. By officially suspending negotiations and recalling his team to Ottawa, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney sent a definitive message to Trump. Canada will not compromise its sovereignty for a bad deal. Watch Mark Carney's reactions following this remarkable development.
Well, we believed earlier this week that we were moving towards a mutually beneficial agreement. In recent days, the United States proposed new terms that were uneconomic, unfair, and undermined the net benefits for Canada and called into question the reliability of any deal. In short, they asked too much and they offered too little. More fundamentally, the cumulative effect of U.S. demands revealed the limits of their commitment to a true economic partnership. As I said earlier, as a result, last evening I suspended trade negotiations with the United States and directed our negotiators to return to Ottawa. I want to thank Minister LeBlanc and our chief negotiator, Janice Charette, their team. They've worked hard in good faith right up to the last minute to defend the interests of Canadians. Now, Canada will match Washington's new tariffs dollar for dollar in order to protect Canadian workers, farmers, families. Our response will be concentrated in sectors such as steel, dairy, appliances, agricultural equipment, pulp and paper, and electronics. Also include products that are currently subject to unjustified Section 232 and 338 tariffs. This is a focused response to protect and defend our industries and allow them to compete with U.S. products in the Canadian market. In the coming days, we'll release details of these new tariff measures which will come into force the Tuesday after Labor Day. Let me be clear. We take this step reluctantly. Reluctantly because we recognize that some of these measures will raise costs and reduce choice for Canadians. Reluctantly because we recognize that some U.S. companies and some U.S. states are innocent bystanders in a dispute that they did not want. Reluctantly because this trade dispute is preventing America from doing so much good that we could do together. But at the same time, we take this step confident that it is in the best interest of Canada. And that by rejecting a bad deal, by standing up for Canada, by focusing on what we can control, we will build Canada strong for all. Building at home and diversifying trade abroad is not our plan B. It has been our plan A from the start. Canada will continue to pursue this path to build Canada strong because it's right and because it's working. We're moving rapidly to build major infrastructure. We've already referred 27 nation-building initiatives to the new Major Projects Office, new ports, mines, energy corridors from every region of the country that now represent $500 billion in new private investment. Projects that will help Canada build bigger, move faster, and trade more with the world.
CNBC's Peter Armstrong says there will be books written about what happened tonight.
Mr. Carney now saying we're going to respond with dollar for dollar tariffs, which is
dollar for dollar tariff. Then they're going to specifically target red states. Thank God. Get what you vote for, but make we get a large swath of our wood and lumber from China. So everyone is going to be affected by that. So that link is in my description box. Now, let me end with this. Did y'all hear about what's going on at LSU? There is controversy surfacing in LSU. How are they handling their controversy at LSU? Much like they are handling the Nolan Wells case and acting as we cannot give any information about our investigation conveniently. So let's get into. Have you guys heard about the controversy at LSU? School has barely started, and one thing that people who always think that it is so great to have proximity to the YT people, that it makes them an elitist, or it makes them special. They will disrespect you to your face and clown you to your face and set you up to be the sample to their foolishness. Have you guys heard about the shit that's going on in LSU? I guess no one's heard about it. So let me share this link with you. And now they came out and was all hush hush, and they found out who the student was, and they were going to do disciplinary action, but they cannot give out her name, and they cannot discipline her publicly and say what the action would be. She should have been expelled from the school. These are not children. These are adults. These are young adults. So if you haven't heard about now, they're trying to come out and say that this was a comfort doll. A comfort doll. If you haven't heard about it, let's see it. Let's see. 2 Louisiana State University students have sparked outrage after dragging a black baby doll through campus by a rope tied around its neck. And one of the students definitely be black, or she definitely appears to be black or mixed. We're gonna get into this. A viral video shows a white woman holding the rope, accompanied by her black friend, both wearing class of 2030 t-shirts. The doll trailed behind them as the white student dragged it across sidewalks and into the student union building. She had been walking around like this for a while, and not one person stopped her. Ebony Gray, the LSU parent who posted the original video on Facebook. So let's get into this. Here she is right here. This is the white girl. This is the ignorant ass black friend, and this is the black doll that is being dragged behind her. Now, right here is the video of her walking through the student union, and the ignorant ass black friend is walking side by side with her. I'm gonna play you the video. Gray's daughter recorded the scene on August 19th after the move-in period for LSU freshman class and ahead of the school's official start date of August 24th. ABC affiliate WGNO confirmed that LSU is aware of the incident and an internal investigation is underway, but the university declined to comment, prompting many shocking viewers to speak out. Okay, here we go. I don't know how to get this fucking big ass ad down. Let's see that again. Oh, we can watch it on Instagram. Hold on. Let me link to the Instagram page. We'll watch it on Instagram. How about that? Just in case you guys are not aware of this. So that was their first response. Oh, we know it is, and we cannot comment on it, and all of this dumb shit. Let me share this with you. There she is, and no one says a word about this. One more time. All over campus. Now these adults are sitting on these chairs. One of them looks like they are in a some type of security or cop office, and it is like taken aback by it, but I didn't get up and say not one word to her. Let's review this one more time. Seeing sitting right here, right here. You see her you see her look like astounded at what she's seeing, but didn't do a thing. So now there have been reports that let me see if it is in here. Let me see if it's in here. Let me see if I can find it in here. Here we go. Let's go back to our original article. This is just disgusting. Let me go back to our original article on this. In screenshots that Gray and others shared on Facebook, Eunice Pynchon identified herself as the woman's mother and explained that her daughter had received the doll last year. She planned to bring it around campus as a joke, not a racist message. When Pynchon saw the video, she said, "I was appalled," and immediately got on her ass. She said her daughter asked a group of students if the doll looked crazy. When they told her yes, she put it away. Pynchon said her daughter didn't mean any harm and considers her white friend as family, adding that her daughter spoke with the resident advisor and apologized. Still, many wanted to hear from the other student's family. So this is what the black mother said. I got in her ass and she considered the white girl as family. So it seems like the white girl considers your black daughter as family as long as she can put a rope around her neck and drag her around like a piece of trash behind her. It seems like she regards her as a slave. That's what it seems like. Your daughter's white friend regards your daughter as. But go ahead. Pynchon said her daughter didn't mean any harm and considers her white friend as family, adding that her daughter spoke with the resident advisor and apologized. Still, many wanted to hear from the other students' family. Where is the statement from the other young lady's parents? One commenter asked about the New Orleans Room Instagram account. I'd like to hear how they are addressing her actions, because that's the part that sparked the entire situation. I believe all of it sparked the entire situation. To have raccoons out here allowing this to happen and being okay with this type of thing happening in their presence, I think all of it is the problem. So if you are unaware about this situation, raccoons need to go somewhere and sit the fuck down, because no matter how much you coon, they think the same thing about you, that you try to expound about your own people, to try to make yourself seem like you are some unicorn Negro. No, you are the same Negro that they see when they look at any Negro. You tap dancing fools. So I hope you guys have a great remainder of your day. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. I will be back on Wednesday between 8 and 8:30 a.m. Tell a friend, share the video, hit the like button. If you want to support the channel, $ RonyiQ. And if not, and you can just support with a like and a click and a view. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Thank you for spending a little of your morning with me. All right, bye-bye.
You can't be beat, sweet, sweet Ronnie.